Good times with everybody. Welcome to ZSR for qual number 8 of the OOTR Standard Tournament Season 8 qualifiers. I've got Emo, I've got Out of This World to talk. I'm going to pan it over to them while I get everybody kicked off and get us going here.
Welcome everybody to ZeldaSpeedRuns. We're going to be doing Season 8, Qualifier 8 today. We've got Lucky 8s in his eye, Out of the World Burrito, aka Burrito for short. Joining me today is Emo Soda. Emo, how you doing?
I'm doing just fine on this checks calendar Saturday afternoon with you here. Watching another qualifier for S8. Very exciting. This is the, 8th qual for S8? Let's go. So it's going to be extra cursed?
Super cursed. Theoretically, this could be someone's 8th qualifier race, but given the time that some of these are happening, I doubt it. For some runners, some of these qualifiers were 2 a.m. So you got to have a little bit of a strong determination to get those done. But as a reminder, runners do need to complete 8. They can complete 8 races, and their 5 are going to be kept, but we're going to be dropped the highest. And we have some runners starting right now. It looks like child start is Death Mountain Trail entrance. Turn around, going back into CAC, and it looks like we're going to check Roof Guy, check Andrew for Cuckos, get all that good stuff. If you are starting from an advantageous side, I think turn around, going back into CAC is very smart. A lot of quick checks here to do right off the bat as our runners start getting all those really good early child checks. And it looks like we're about to see what Andrew has to give in just a moment. I forget she's called Cucko Girl in this technically. It's that MM brain. $5. That's not a lot for 3 birds.
Yeah, there's some back-end stuff for the stream that's being handled currently. But, okay, here we go.
Yeah. Looks like we're going into Spider House, though, checking our hints.
I think it was a 40 on bomb bag.
40 on bomb bag, that's good to know.
Bomb bag on 40, rather.
Right. Hopefully they find another one a little bit sooner than that, as 40's quite a bit to collect, especially since their starting song is Epona song and not something a little bit handier like Sun song. But Epona does open up some checks like Gerudo Fortress for us. And if they really need to hunt pose, they got to hunt pose, but got to find the bow first of all. Going into Hyrule Field, though, looks like some are taking the path to go get Song at Long Long Ranch and maybe do Super Cuckos. Getting songs early in the seed is great, especially since songs are shuffled between song locations as a reminder. So if you want to get as many as you can, as soon as you can, that could help with navigating the world, as well as just figuring out, man, am I going to have to go back of Ice Cavern? That would stink.
They are the best items in the game. They're the most powerful. They unlock the most things. So not too much question that it's the best thing to do in pretty much any seed. But yeah, the bomb bag is most likely going to be locking them on 50. Apparently they are on 50. Thank you, chat. And yeah, so that just tells us they're -1 from finding one, you know?
Right. Yeah, bomb bag on 50 is even worse.
Yeah. Yeah, super not the first bomb bag. I think you can pretty much guarantee that. I would be impressed, though, that if it were.
If it were, this might be a very entertaining scene for us all then, if everyone's got to get 50 tokens before bomb bag. But with us today, we have our 4 runners for the restream. Up in the upper left, we have J-Bone. In the upper right, we have Master Elec. In the bottom left, we have Vidya James, aka Vidya. And in the bottom right, we have Aeronaut. All very skilled players we've seen before. And it looks like also talent reciprocating and keeping the trend of 5 rupees for birds. Like Vidya's going to go around, start collecting those tokens, knowing that he needs them, and definitely don't want to come back to Lon Lon if you don't have to. Not too much to do in here in these settings other than grab sword, check Cuckos, Fuse Skull, and then grain silo.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch where they spawned. I think it was in CAC, because they all did chickens first.
They spawned at Death Mountain Trail entrance, and they turned around and went immediately into CAC.
Yeah, so basically CAC, yeah.
Yeah, that's basically a free Nocturnus child. If you think about it.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it puts less pressure on things like Bomb the Well, because you can always just save quit back there.
Yeah, it looks like they got Minuet off of Lon Lon here.
I mean, that's pretty good. It's going to really shorten their child 1 segment. You always have a child 1, adult 1 segment. And any seed, you need that at least at the bare minimum. So just allows them to warp out. Nothing in the back of Ranch here. Gonna see what another song is. And it's Bolero.
Bolero on Saria. That's very good.
It's going to push the runners more towards adult, I think, and really shorten up this child segment that they started with. And really, no one's read Pedestal. We don't know really what's required.
It looks like runners got the hint for Ocarina of Time check being Prelude, so we hopefully don't need to collect all 3 stones.
Bowling Alley is a Dense Fire on the second reward. And yeah, Prelude on OoT. Interesting. Well, I'm kind of rooting for that bomb bag on 50 now. I know it's like super not possible, but man, if only. If they find a hammer early, the runners are going to start sweating. I guarantee you.
No, absolutely. Let's see here. Looks like some of the runners are going around checking Kokiri, raiding Mido's house right now. Mido doesn't have anything good, just a little bit of love for us and a huge rupee, it looks like. So we'll take his money and his love.
All small chests. Yeah, I don't know. In these kinds of situations, I would just enter, exit Midos. Don't even open them at this point. You could get bomb twos in the small browns, but...
Yeah, that's my thought. I would check the small browns, at least for the bomb chews, especially since the only hint we have towards bomb bags is 50 right now. It's quite possible that there's a bomb bag that's earlier and easier, but I don't know where it is. So if I can get like even 5 chews, that might open up a few things. But it looks like we got a wallet off of Kokiri's sword.
Oh, nice. But definitely puts less pressure on bomb bag now. Now it puts more pressure on Opponent Song. Where is that?
Yeah, right.
But we do have 2 warp songs as adult. So once they go adult, things are really going to speed up here.
Mm-hmm. These runners off to a really enabled start with some of these songs.
Yeah, the only thing that I would want is something like a Serenade, because you're not going to get that Prelude on OT. Not for that.
Yeah, you a Serenade
Storm, ZL, What's up?
Yeah, you a Serenade fan?
Yeah, no, it's really good as a song overall. Really depends on where your child spawn is in terms of how good is it. But it grants you access to Lake without crossing field. That's already a multi-minute time save and a randomizer seed. So it allows you to go to market by playing a song and talking to the owl. That's like maybe 30 seconds max if you have bad movement. To do that, which is pretty good. It's basically a prelude to get to market. And allows you, if you have a scale, to go to River and Domain, Lost Woods. They're all interconnected, Goron City.
Yeah.
Which, even without the scale, though, it's a really good song overall. You really want to set up the Scarecrow if you can in S8 is like the one big takeaway I think I've had.
Yeah, no, the Scarecrow song's really handy during these seed settings, especially since, of course, this is a glitchless rule set. So having Pierre to check a few things that you definitely don't want to backtrack to later, like top of Fire Temple, Fire Pierre is the worst to go back to. But it can also be handy for just getting on roof if you haven't gone to Zora's River to get beans, or if you need to get up to swimming and you haven't refilled Lake yet. So Scarecrow song can do a lot of work in this seed. It looks like we have Jay checking Skull Kid with Sawyer's song for a recovery heart. Nothing too exciting we found yet, but our runners are extremely fast. They're going to start falling upon things pretty quickly here, especially once we get to adult. But it looks like they're all taking the strategy of cleaning up child pretty thoroughly since they've been able to move around the world so much, as backtracking is probably one of the biggest time losses you can have here in this game. Sun's Grave is dead, it looks like, from one of the hints, according to chat.
Yeah, it's a really good point about backtracking. Also why I usually skip this scrub. This Sphere 0 doesn't require anything to get to it. But the fact that you go all the way over here, only for like a hint stone, maybe, sometimes, you won't always get an item on the scrub, and then you have to go back up the ladder. So you hear with Vidya save quitting. Now, I'm a big fan of that. He already knows where he's going to go. He can use it. He probably had it in mind before he even got to Lost Woods. He was probably thinking, well, I have Minuet, I can go there. Once you get it from Epona's as you're making your way to the shed, you can then just walk through and save quit out. So it really gives you a ton of time if you take advantage of the opportunity to like think about your routing there. Like a really common example is people say forest all the time. Like, well, I like going to forest because it gives me time to figure out what to do with my route. And that's pretty fair, but it's all over the place. It's not just Forest Temple. It's like your transitions between the cutscenes here. It's like a 5-10 seconds just right there. So there's tons and tons of really small time saves in a randomizer, and you really get to see that in a qualifier setting with the rapid finishes. I finished 5 minutes later, but that was 20 places, so it's very real.
Yeah, all those small movements really add up to save a lot of time over the course of the race. This is something that I'm realizing derusting on Randomizer myself is, a good Dampe for me, like a Dampe race is like 55 seconds, but then I watch these runners hit 50, 46, 47, 48 quickly. I'm like, if they're saving 10 seconds on Dampe compared to me, where else are they saving time up in? This kind of movement is where it comes in, especially in some of the qualifiers we've seen so far. We saw a lot of good use of Pharaoh's Wind, especially since we've seen that item come up early in runs. Smart wind use can save a lot of time in dungeons, and it looks like Bottom of the Well is foolish, which is big because that's a lot of checks. So that's already going to narrow down the scope, and that's an optional dungeon otherwise.
Yeah, Fortress, outside Ganon's Castle, and Bottom of the Well. Fort, not really super important, but it does add value to your Gerudo Training Grounds plays. And the Bottom of the Well Foolish is really big. It's going to influence a lot of large-scale routing that's happening here.
Yeah, absolutely. The nice thing about Bottom of the Well, if it was available, it doesn't require too much to check. Mostly just go in there with bombs, but they'll at least let our runners dedicate their efforts elsewhere, as we see some going in and doing child minigames right now with Shooting Gallery. And we see Aeronaut already taking on their first trip to adult. And they're going to be rolling out of market here.
Yeah, child shooting's basically free in most scenarios. If you get some money off the chains, you can buy an adult shield and then usually be able to do child shooting. There is a variable discount on the adult shields, and sometimes it can really bite you. It might be short for child shooting. You only get 80. But again, kind of like what you're saying before, it's just a nice way of, you're not exactly being thorough, but it does prevent backtracking a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. Especially if you can prevent going between child and adult an extra time. That's a lot of time that can be saved.
In a scene where Prelude's going to be on OT and Serenade is nowhere so far.
Yeah. Fortunately for our runners, Frogs 2 is dead. Unfortunately for us, Frogs 2 is dead, according to chat. So they might not get any serenading amphibians this time.
Kind of interesting, Aeronaut here walking to CAC, just not getting warp songs. He could get a Nocturne off that, so I don't know about that play.
Yeah, especially since
Requiem
it looks
here
like
in Minuet.
Yeah, Requiem's on Minuet, like you just said, and that's a big one too, because then exactly what Vidya's doing, go just play Requiem immediately, get another song check out of the way, just hammer those out as fast as possible.
He hasn't even played Bolero yet, so it's an extra 2 songs from what would be just 2. Real nice. And
it looks like Bolero's song, which is great if we need to get those 50 skulls.
Is it?
I mean, you never know. We might get locked out of some dungeons, or locked out of certain skulls in certain dungeons. So being able to get some of those overworld skulls can save you a little bit of headache, especially if you're really dry on finding some bomb bags here. I always appreciate having Sun Song, as my Skulltula routing can get a little messy, but it looks like we have Nocturne on Requiem.
And Goron City Path Bane, not Baronade.
Goron City to Baronade, interesting.
It was Bane, not Baronade.
Oh, to Bane. Goron City to Bane. What would be the stupidest spot in Goron City for light arrows to be on? Spinning Pot? Darunia? Well, we have Sarias, so that wouldn't be too bad. All right, so we have Vidya playing Nocturne to go to Graveyard immediately. And it looks like we have some of the runners starting to maybe go over to Dampe with Aeronaut peeking the crate. Couldn't quite tell what that was. Getting a hint that says Skull Mask is dead, according to chat here. Which Skull Mask being dead, I believe, refers to Skull Mask Theater in the Deku Theater check.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, Mask of Truth, thankfully off for the time being. Yeah, it's an Iron Boots set graveyard.
Iron Boots at graveyard?
Yeah, in the box.
Ooh. Well, let's see what Aeronaut's time is. Check. Get your times in right now for Dampe races. We have Aeronaut and Vidya going through it. It's like Aeronaut with a 51. Let's see if Vidya can get a... I'm going to say also 51. I don't know how tempting those Iron Boots will be, but I'm sure it'd be nice to have once they do have to go to water.
Well, water's a stone in this seed, so it's a DC.
I'm never counting Water Temple out. It loves to worm its way in. Morpho always wants to be the star of the show, even though he's just a ball.
It's probably a good attitude to have about Water Temple, honestly. It's a max 4 checks on these settings, so it's really not. It's not it for most runners. Most locations in the game have more item checks than that, and they're all like pretty heavy item requirements to get to. It's not super duper likely that something like a stone water would have anything too important, but we'll see.
Yeah, one of the hints they could get Central Pillar in Water Temple, which is probably one of the hard requirements for Iron Boots in these settings. So that even rules something out potentially if they get that hint. And it looks like we're getting Song of Time from Windmill.
Still no sign of explosives. They do have a wallet. I would expect somebody to do an aggressive reverse wasteland here on Restream. We'll see who it is.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know how they get money for it. Probably just a save quit, go to the Poe guy and mark it. There's a pot there with 20 in it. Or you can go to Dampe Race, and there's a pot there, but it's a little bit slower.
Yes.
So we'll see which direction they intend on going, because they're not really making any decisions right now. Okay, here Vidya's grinding off the box and cack. Okay,
that's another convenient place to grind. There's also always the hope that you just open a chest and you find a lot of rupees in it along the way. It looks like Vidya's not getting lucky on that one though, just getting 5.
There was a 200 in Mido's house. If I had skipped it as a player, I would definitely keep that in mind in the situation. It's not too far away.
Jay Bone going to Zora's River.
Yeah, he's an aggressive Zora's River player. Not too shocked by this. Can really burn you, but you can also get super duper rewarded. I mean, you get 3 hints, 2 items, so it's a pretty hot location.
Yeah, that is true.
Let's see what's on there today. It looks like a bloopy on the first item check.
Yeah, I agree. That looks like a bloopy. So we have one more freestanding to check. And we have the open grotto.
River in addition to CAC, they're both like a lot faster if you can do them later on in seed with a lot more items.
So interestingly, Aeronaut's already checking Fire Temple really early. Maybe they're hoping to win big early on here. It looks like the first Goron's not going to give them anything of interest other than a key. Can't really do too much without hammers or bombs though. So curious to see what this play is.
Bomb shoes on J-Bone's side. He found that in the open river grotto. Okay,
that's definitely a nice help early on.
It's going to have really big ripples in this qualifier. So you're going to get and a Lake Path Bane hint. Interesting. So we have Goron City Path and also Lake Path Bane.
Yeah, Vidya picking up Goron Tunic above Dongo's Cave.
I would be rushing Child as fast as I could if I were in his shoes. You find bomb shoes and say Lake is required. I couldn't buy a bean fast enough into Valley Lake. Be crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Aeronaut with the aggressive fire dip here.
Exactly. I think dipping fire is pretty. That's pretty hot. We got it. Let's be honest here. This early on, with really nothing to go on.
Yeah, really convenient. The third item check was 200 rupees for Jay. So now he just has to play. Ooh, whoa! Hook shot in Child Spirit. All right. Well, thankfully for Jay, he has Bomb Chew, so he can go do that.
Mm-hmm.
Get an early hook. Probably an extended child segment. Only 5 though. So you can go buy, beans, go set up lake, you just do lake, It's going to lead to probably not lights because you have 2 Bane paths this seed. Usually suggests like explosives, something that leads to a dungeon clear or another item.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Jay's using one of those precious chews though to check. Wolfless Grotto.
He did save quit. So he's just scumming these right now.
All right, not a bad play.
I would probably go Goron City first because you already know that's Path Bane.
Mm-hmm.
So you go glimpse at the maze, go do the Goron, and it probably pays off.
Right.
And you could always just come back here after. Yeah, you could always come back here after. You could scum these as child with the more convenient save warp. So yeah, I'm not too certain about checking the Lost Woods checks here, actually.
Mm-hmm. Well, Richard's a winner as we get the piece of heart from checking Richard's child. 50 rupees off the Dekus in Lost Woods, so stonks.
Jack coming in through for us here. Apparently, that was Spirit Trial, not Spirit Temple. Okay.
Oh, that's even.
So your long shot is in
yeah,
Ganon's.
Basically.
No, it has to be, yeah, because you need the hook shot for one of the rupees. In addition to being locked by Shadow. So yeah, Water's almost surely dead, but we've seen crazier things like Scale here on Dampe digging.
I was about to say, well, Water might be dead, but we can get wet still. Got a lot of different strategies going on with runners as they take different approaches here with Master now going into their own Zora River check. Maybe they'll come across these same handy hints that we saw earlier. Jay up making a play maybe for reverse Wasteland, it looks like you were speaking about earlier. Vidya doing Nightcack, really focused on getting those Skulltulas most likely for that bomb bag. And it looks like Aeronaut's following in Jay's steps here.
Yeah, you have an early wallet. You don't have any hope of explosives here, really. I mean, unless you do a river play. Master Alex also going for that. Really nice to see.
River tends to burn me, but it looks like it's paying off for these runners this time with that information. Information's super valuable in Randomizer, especially with these settings. It can save you a lot of time and give you some focus on where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like we got Vidya going across Hyrule Field. Aeronaut in Gerudo Valley. Checking Carpet Salesman for more chews. Yep, there you go. Loading up on chews is not a bad idea. Expensive, but worth it. We're going to find a lot more rupees in this run.
Yeah, really nothing else that the runners have found here. It's kind of amazingly dry this early on in the scene. Really not that early. We're approaching the 30-minute mark here.
Yeah, they got off getting a lot of useful songs very early, which is nice. But they're not finding any items to really use for progression right now. If I'd have to say, those bomb chews put Jay in a pretty good position. But and it looks like Master's taking the same idea of checking Wolfos Grotto and Sacred Force Metal. And according to chat, it sounds like Claim Check is dead. But you're doing Child Gerudo Valley there. And it looks like Jay is making a play to go back to Child. While Aeronaut heads into save a Carpenter there. Definitely a lot of strategies at play here. We can see some people lining up with similar ideals. I wouldn't be surprised if some of these runners do what Jay does and goes and buys some bomb chews, knowing that that bomb bag's buying 50 and we still don't have a clue where any other one could be.
If I had that lake path, I would be, I'd be so rushing that right now. It's kind of weird to see the Valley didn't just leave play when you have that hit.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they all have it too, so I'd definitely agree with Vidya's play here a little bit more.
Checking Valley and swing down
though.
the lake.
He's got that scale that the others don't have because it's age lock. J-Bone getting me here though.
Yeah, J-Bone has it, so that opens up Rudo's bottle for Vidya. Fishing, you could already do. Gets that Scarecrow song here. If it ends up rolling over tonight, can grab a Skulltula as well. Looks like Vidya's about to grab another hint though. Yeah, which is that hook shot bomb hint. Aeronaut crawling into Gerudo training grounds for a lot of quick checks, it looks like.
Yeah, in addition to there being like pro early river players, there's also pro GTG players that just will rush this as soon as they can. And this is as practically as soon as he could. You could probably actually save 5 minutes if you really wanted to rush it with this item set. But
Well, the Song of Time makes it really tempting. I love going to GTG. I don't know what it is. It's something in my monkey brain and just being an obstacle course. I like it, even though it's mostly keys. I still like it.
Yeah, like it. I don't know. It gets your juices flowing if you really like gambling too.
Oh yeah, because
you instantly get to see if 10 checks are alive or dead.
Yeah,
and here it looks like they're pretty much dead.
Yeah, it looks like the main room's dead. This is Ocarina of Time's version of a gacha game. You're just opening boxes, hoping for something good to come up on the banner, and you're just like, damn, it's just more keys. Oh, Mirror Shield, though, for J-Bone in the Grotto. Which grotto was that? Hyrule Field Grotto. Rocket Destiny Grotto near Market Entrance. It's not just a boulder, it's a rock, Mr. Moxie. Speaking of Mr. Moxie, our trackers today are fantastic as always. Thank you very much, trackers. We have Tumultalk, Veva, Mr. Moxie, and Celine on tracking. So thank you very much for working on this with us. We appreciate your volunteer and participations. So Mirror Shield on Boulder.
I have no thoughts on that shield. Who cares?
Well, Spirit Trial, you can get your long shot.
You don't need it for Spirit Trial. You just need a hook and a way to hit the switch, which the intended method is bomb chews, but thankfully you don't actually need the trial items to clear them.
Oh, true. Be you doing fishing, following that lake path. J-Bones, continue to check Rock, Grotto, nothing in that one.
Sacred Forest Meadow Bongo Path.
That's fun. Could that be referring to the song? Oh, Megaton Hammer on fishing. Child fishing.
Yeah, not surprised to see that. Lake is Path Bane, so in some way that helps you find the light arrows for access to Ganon's castle. Because it is vanilla, you need the Spirit, Shadow Meds, and light arrows to be able to spawn the bridge to him. Looks like there's another item there on... Oh, I think it's just an adult shield. See here from video.
I was swimming. Yeah, hard to tell.
It might be a tunic.
Yeah, getting that hammer is a big deal for a runner. It's not just because it's most likely required, but that will help cover the gap of lack of explosives these runners might have for a little while with one of the bomb bags being behind 50 skulls.
It is a bottle.
Oh.
All right.
All right. A bottle in a normal bottle place, but not necessarily the same bottle.
Not letter.
Letter
would
have been very convenient, though.
I think as a runner, I would have just assumed lights are probably just in the maze in Goron City. But there could be something else there. I don't think we even saw anyone peek that yet, and we're 30 minutes in. Feels kind of risky to me. Looks like Aeronaut, though. I don't know, telepathically linked with me right now.
Yeah, Aeronaut's taking a little dip. Vidya's in a good place to check basically almost all of Goron City at this point. Saria's. You could do pot with choose, right? It would just suck.
No, it was a small Poe. It was not a big Poe. So you can drink that sucker.
Yeah, slurp it down.
Aeronaut, now out of bomb choose, will not be able to check the full maze if he wants to. It does require 4 explosives, not 3. Mm-hmm. Oh, but a bow. Okay.
Okay. Bow's really nice. That gives us a lot of stuff that we could do now as adult.
Yeah, also Path Bane, so it might be getting bailed out here. Because Shirley's not going to just scum right now.
No, that's too good to pass up. Could scum, come back for it, but that's a lot of time.
Explosive situation, I don't know. He's already got the fortress bridge down, so he can just go walk over and buy more chews if he feels like it.
He just peeked back a maze. It looks like there is a big chest back there on the right.
That was either 2 or 3 big chests. And a big chest on the...
Torches?
Yeah, domain torches.
Mm-hmm.
Have to see what that is. Dampe digging, really catapulting here Vidya into firsts on Restream.
Mm-hmm.
However, we've got J-Bone. He's in Valley as Child. Surely he's heading late because it's Path Bane.
That's what
Master Alex not too far behind here. Also heading the same direction, a little bit behind J-Bone. But it is just a double defense. Wow.
Hey,
okay.
He could take a few more hits now.
I don't think that's going to matter to these runners. It'll matter to some people in the race, though. I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. These runners are really excellent at the game. Some runners prefer not taking double defense if they want to take intentional deaths.
Yeah, I think all 4 of these runners, I think they all have the potential to make top 32.
Oh, absolutely.
Don't think that'd be too crazy to say.
So, Aeronaut making the play of going into DC.
Ooh, Alex does not have the scales, too. That's going to really hurt.
Sometimes Dampe's got what you just need.
Peeking the chest. It's big. DC map.
There you go.
It's going to scum it. Hopefully it's just bomb bag or something. Strength. Okay, so Hammerlock strength. that's accessible only via hammer, logically, so far, from what we know. Which was on Dampe digging. It did not require anything. So pretty early, I think, strength.
Yeah, I definitely agree. That's a very early strength. We have Vidya grabbing some magic beans, so you don't have to come back. Yeah, Hammer was on child fishing. Dampe had silver scale. So you'd have to do child fishing.
Yeah, but the scale really propels you towards the hammer, though. A lot more than it would with just the path hint. May or may not check it, zoom right to it.
Areas definitely become much more attractive for checks when you have more things you can do there. Even if there's a limited amount of checks, maybe you do basically almost everything in one go, then yeah. Without scale, Lake as a child is looking pretty unattractive.
So if you want to go a little bit deeper, too, in terms of routing, you have to also think about... Ooh, I just had and just lost it. Oh, yeah. So the how big your time segments are per age. Like, are you fine with like a 5-minute child one, or would you rather have it be like 30 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want your first adult segment, if you do child star in a seed, do you want that to be, should that be looking more like 10 or 20 minutes? There's a really big variance in between that. And you can get rewarded or punished equally in seeds. It's just kind of, some seeds you will get more or less punished depending on where the item placements are, which is, it's the whole draw of randomizer, right? You're making stuff different. But you really see that in a seed like this, where Vidya's in a really nice spot. Aeronaut also in a really nice spot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of for the same reason. Went to a path location fairly early, I would say. But it was the other one and got 2 different items. So interesting situation for that. I'd really like to see, or I'm looking forward to see where Aeronaut and Vidya are going to line up in terms of their routing.
Yeah.
And see who comes out on top.
These runners are all very skilled, so you'll see them taking some similar strategies here. But it still presents a lot of variance. So, like, to your point, yeah, even though Aeronaut and Vidya have a little bit of different item setup right now, obviously one's with scale and hammer, the other with strength and bow, that's still both a powerful position to be in for both these runners. It opens up a lot for them.
Yeah, it makes it so that Aeronaut, who's now reversing a second time just to get more explosives for Goron City, he wouldn't be in this situation if he went Vidya's route. So Vidya here just has to go adult, go to Goron City, and more or less he is already caught up.
Yeah. J-Bone's about to grab their double defense. And while it looks like Vidya heading back into Hyrule Field, maybe going back to market there. And we have Master going up into Hyrule Field from Lake Hylia. And Aeronaut back walking over to Carpet Salesman to get more explosives. And then J-Bones looks like they're on the Lake Hylia path right now after finishing up Zora's Domain.
Nicely to grab the scale.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be up a bottle as well on the other 2 runners. Outside of Vidya, getting the mirror shield. Can be a little bit looser with those explosives now after finding the hammer.
Oh, absolutely. You don't need him to open grottos anymore. You don't even open
boulders anymore. Is he going to make it? He makes it, okay.
Yeah, just barely. J-Bone about to find their hammer on child fishing up there in the upper left as we get Master still looking across Hyrule Field here. We know there might be some other good stuff in the grotto for them, but we already know from our J-Bone going across, and I think Vidya did it too. Or no, J-Bone hasn't done yet, just Vidya.
Yeah, explosive checks are just the most, auto-scroller of a check, I would say, and randomizer. Just any explosive check is really, really good on average.
Yep. Looks like Vidya's going back to adult. Probably going to make use of that hammer. And Aeronaut going back to Goron City. Likely going to use those explosives to check the back of the maze, probably, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, he saw those big chests. He knows its path. Could just be like another bow and a slingshot.
Hey, that'd be funny. Be loaded on arrows then.
I think the other hook here makes a lot of sense. We'll see. Not gonna be able to get the left chest though. I think it was left big and right big. Let's see here.
Yeah, there's one left big, one right big. Collecting. Oh, boomerang. That's awesome.
Hey, you need it. All right. It's a little bit more info, maybe. It's definitely a lot more possibilities on where the hell these lights are, though. That's not exactly fun to think about, especially in a runner's position here.
Yeah.
It's gonna add it's a lot of logic to go through.
Yeah. One thing I want to point out that was really smart by Vidya is they use their magic bean in Crater so that they could navigate Crater easier as adults since they don't have hookshot or hovers yet. So that's saving them a lot of time from having to go up DMT possibly again, which our runners already looked at.
Just worrying about timer in general if you go like really early.
Oh, yeah.
Still no ZL though, right? Do they have ZL? I remember.
No one has ZL yet. We have not found Zelda's Lullaby, which is a little concerning.
Oh, it has to be on Prelude or Burning Cack, right?
Do we know what's at the back of Ice Cavern? I forgot.
Oh, it's not ZL.
Oh, right. It can't be
tell
ZL.
you that much.
Yeah, we don't know what's on Burning Cack. We don't know what's on Prelude. And Forest Medallion's behind... What is that, Fire? Or Forest? I think
Yeah, Forest, I think, is like the likely... This is probably what locks ZL, I would say.
Probably.
Just, encountering it as a runner would. Yeah, no chaos yet for the Deku and Jabu. The ring has been found, no letter. Big chest here, and Cack. Explosive check. It's the letter.
Ooh, nice.
Speaking of, I just conjured it. What now?
You conjured it. Stop helping the runners. You're supposed to make the seed more interesting.
What else do I want? Oh, I still want to see that bomb bag on 50D, this first one. We'll see. There's been no other bomb bags found so far.
That would be fun if bomb bags behind Megaton Hammer Rock, which we're about to find out with Vidya James in the bottom left, I think. They're going through Goron Maze right now, but they are already packing Hammer.
If you're in Vidya's spot,
Bo's on Goron Link Vortex.
You can save a few more seconds too if you just use the hammer backwards, so that it pushes you into the rock rather than away.
Yeah.
If you don't have hovers, otherwise hovers work really great too.
Oh yeah,
they don't let you move.
It looks like that's light arrows. That's just straight up light arrows back in Goron Maze.
So that's a pretty clear cut Bane hint scenario with the two Bane hints. It's hammer at lake. So you need it from Goron City. They're both Bane because of that. Yeah,
path easily solved.
All right. Well, now you're down 2 hints. You know that SFM is path Bongo. What are the other paths here?
We got bottom of Fountain is Fairy's Wind, it looks like.
Well, I guess that's all we know so far. Oof.
Yep. See, having a double path hint like that for hammer to light arrows, it's like on one hand that's useful because
you find your hammer out of it though. I wouldn't complain.
You do find your hammer. Finding hammer is not bad at all. So yeah, I don't know. It just feels like it's 2 hints though. Like one of those hints could have been something else.
It varies from seed to seed. It's been one complaint that I've read commonly with Essay is the Bane hints, like you said, they kind of eat a lot. Aeronaut really taking his time with that hint. Within the Spirit Trial, there is your long shot. Just getting the rupees there so that he can, I'm assuming, reverse, maybe not even reverse, just go to Wasteland again for more bomb chews. I think that'd be kind of a tragic play.
Looks like Vidya's grabbing Iron Boots now out of the box, so Sinkers rejoice.
The strength is at the map chest in DC.
Yep. Which, of course, as you mentioned earlier, map chest is locked by, I guess in this seed, might have just been hammer locked since we still haven't found a bog bag yet.
Yeah, so the strength it can be required for the room that Jay is currently in. So this is all still in logic. The only thing that's not in logic would be behind the eyes. Because of the explosive situation. So that's at the very least, that's a pretty good thing. No one's like straight up missing the hammer besides Aeronaut. Lake is path though, so he's eventually going to go there. It's just a matter of how much time is he going to lose by trying to route in other stuff that he skipped before to go to GTG.
Yeah, possible that he just hasn't been tempted since he hasn't run to Silver Scale like the other runners have.
I mean, he's on the way there, I think.
Oh yeah, he'll get it.
He's just going to do Valley Lake, but this is kind of the risk that you use when you are an aggressive player, either going for River or GTG or Ice, like completely out of logic. And so the seed, it just happened to be good to go to River instead.
Sometimes those plays work out, as we see in randomizers, and I think these settings is a good illustration of that, where Sometimes checking those lesser desired areas, even if you're not fully equipped for it, is the play to make, and that's the fun of Randomizer, right?
A lot of really similar strategies too, and they're pretty much all lined up now. Except another strength has been found at the bow game in CAC, which is a really nice find for Vidya. He's going to go straight to DC, I'm assuming here, and find the second strength.
Yeah, I'm being prized with
this is a stone,
gauntlets.
but I don't know. You can't pay me enough money to just skip DC, even if it's a stone. I'm sorry. You get all the items.
Like, even for me, where I'm still coming back and de-resting, DC is just such an easy dungeon to do quickly, especially as adult. It's really hard to pass all those quick checks, especially as our runners know they might need those Skulltulas, so if they really want to, they could stretch an extra room or two to grab an extra token on the way.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like 3 of our runners now checking out DC as Aeronaut heads into Hyrule Field. As Child, their first time back to Child since the start of the seed. So this would be Aeronaut's Child too.
Triple the dongos. This is actually nice to see. So it means no one's going to be too far behind.
When there's 3 Dodongos on the screen, you can't ignore my boy. I love King Dodongo. He's just hungry, like any reptile. Where was Bo? Bo was on Goron Link in Goron City.
Yeah,
Goron City pretty loaded.
That's just locked by the strength that was found in DC, because the hammer was in Lake with no item requirements. So you take the hammer, you go get your strength, and then it expects you to go get the bow afterwards, I guess.
Yeah. So Vidya just found his silver gauntlet, so he's probably feeling pretty pumped about that since he has bow, mirror shield, silver gauntlets. He could do a little bit of spirit, just missing hookshot though. That's pretty rough. And ZL, I guess. You try to skip DC 1 seed, huh, Rob Dog?
Nice reverse camera from Aeronaut. Let's go. You get to see where you're going, so you know if your angle's bad or good. In that situation, I think his angle is not great. No. You just have to keep moving on in a qualifier scenario. Otherwise, if you keep dwelling on like one thing or a mistake you just made, that's going to put you further back in the pack.
Especially since this is already qualifier 8 of 20, and our runners can log up to 8. And of course, they're going to take 5 scores, dropping the highest, and then keeping the next highest 5. So it's starting to get to the point now where you're not going to be able to be skipping qualifiers too much here in a few more runs.
Yep. Yeah, just halfway basically through qualifier season, just about.
Mm-hmm. Greg making a guest appearance.
I've still only played 1 qual.
Yeah, I mean, you got 11 left after this one, so hope you got some time in your schedule to meet.
There's no reason to rush it. I think that's like the number 1 mistake most people make in qualifiers is like playing your first 8 as the first 8. I just think that's wrong.
Scenarios. You don't really need to rush it that much either. We did have over 90 participants, I believe, in the first qualifier. And then we had a little over 70 in qualifier 5. I don't know how many we have today.
It was something being randomized and competitive. You have to really take your results with a grain of salt a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And spacing them out kind of helps you do that a little bit more.
Oh, thank you, Tom. Well, we have 67 participating today. So still a really great attendance showing.
Yeah, good size.
Yeah.
Kind of seeing that trend more with the last few seasons of, you don't have your like 200 person qual, but well,
it's
probably a good thing.
I'd rather have like 60 people at each qual than 200 at like the first.
Yeah.
No one doing the remainers.
That's definitely worse. I don't think that's in question.
Yeah. Aeronaut's about to get hammered at child fishing there. And just as a review, Goron City, again, was pretty loaded. We had Goron Link with bow, and then the Goron Maze, we had hammer and boomerang. Or we had light arrows behind Hammer Rock, and then we had boomerang behind the bomb site. So Goron City was definitely very important this scene.
It actually used to be, to bring it back to number of people in a qual, that actually used to be a pretty huge issue that was like kind of accruing over the seasons. Because you'd have to have riskier and riskier plays to even pay off and try and get first to maximize your points. So with the player size, being what it is, like being much more consistent. Even if it is large, it's still fine as long as it's consistent. You have any kind of inconsistencies, hard word to say sometimes, and your participant size, it's really going to skew a lot of the races towards that.
Yeah,
when it varies so much.
My advice is don't look at the numbers. Just try and play the best you can. But also, I know those numbers are tempting to look at, so I don't blame people get a little bit worried about their scores. But again, this is qualifiers. Just do your best. And by speaking of doing our best, we got Aeronaut taking on Spirit Child side. Probably a really good play to make since we do know hook shots up there. Right? No, that's Spirit Child. Man, now I'm getting it backwards. Either way, Child Spirit's still probably a good place to check, especially since Aeronaut, who has bow, hammer, and mirror shield, knows that they'll probably find their second strength not too far from now, and they'll be able to start working on adult side. Jay possibly going fire? Looks like it.
Child Spirit does have something.
Oh, there it is. Yeah. Ooh, that's big. We got magic in the game now.
It's not bad, but still puts more pressure on Bomb Bag. See, if I were in their shoes, as soon as you find that Bomb Bag locks Den's Fire, which you need for the seed, I think you have to just play within the bounds of logic. I don't think you can really go outside of it. So you either have to like make that decision right then and there, or you do what we've seen mostly on Restream is going to Haunted Wasteland to rush your explosives because you have no other option.
Mm-hmm.
I think skulls are a really attractive option here. Still no 10-20 checks, I believe.
No, I don't believe so.
Otherwise, you're going to have to backtrack for something. But at this point, it's probably skulls. I think we've seen most of the child checks.
Vidya's actually going in to check skulls right now. Probably checking 10. I haven't been paying attention to their count.
Jabu is available too.
50 rupees on 10 skulls. Jabu is available, but do you really want to go to Jabu?
Vidya is probably going there. Yeah. I think so. I mean, it's progression. You have to do it. If there's an item in there, you're going to be behind if you don't appropriately value your progression dungeons.
Sure, you also do get to Lake Hints, but it looks like we got a big box on Jay's there in Fire Temple, which is blue fire arrows. That would
could be nice. Could be nice. An early boss key, so this is most assuredly going to be hovers locked here. It's going to be some valuable information for the runners.
Mm-hmm.
So we need those for a shadow. So it's got a 3-pronged problem here of, okay, your magic, your dens, which is bomb locked, and hovers, which are very much not in fire this seed.
Yeah, right. Going back to what you were talking about earlier about staying on the logic train, I think that's a really important skill to learn as a runner, which is where you need to keep yourself within the logic when you have the hints and you have a clear path and following it when you know you have it. There's times to gamble, but when a clear path is before you, that is not the time to gamble, unfortunately, even as tempting as it is.
Interesting that Vidya's... Okay, this is why. I was about to say, you could just Farinade and go to Jabu, but valuing the Lost Woods checks that he did not do quite yet this seed.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of going more back to what I said earlier, doing them as childs, not really worried about explosives at this point in the seed.
Right.
There's only a few checks that require it now for the rest of the seed.
It is impressive, though, that we're going on an hour without bomb bag, but hammer is really unlocked a lot for our runners.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of times you don't even need bomb bags if you get especially lucky with bomb tree drops or wallets or what have you.
Yeah, or in this case, Requiem. Early wallet plus Requiem. Go buy some chews. That reverse wasteland tech coming in handy.
I think out of logic bomb bag is usually what most runners tried in Spike, in spite of the logic, but no such bag here. There's only 2 available bomb bags since the 50 skulls has the last one. Assuming the last one. I mean, did we know that for sure?
We don't know that for sure. Somebody was asking in chat earlier, is it possible that 50 is your first bag? And I'm like, maybe. I think it's unlikely in these settings, but
it's
maybe.
Like one of the only things that it locks is option bowling, so it's not.
Which we know is just Dins.
Yeah.
So unless both the other bomb bags are in Shadow Temple, I don't think that's our only bomb bag option right now. The runners just need to come across with those. They haven't gotten any hints, it seems like, for another bomb bag option.
Yep, we've got a split here of Master Alex and Vidya going to Jabu, and Aeronaut and J-Bone going to Fire. Probably just going to swap the two pairs here. Letter's still not found for Aeronaut, though. However, he's going to... I mean, it's right there in CAC, right?
Right.
He'll probably go towards there. Did find the magic, too.
We do have some other stuff locked there, purple. That is true. I just always think of Shadow Temple because I feel like in Randomizer, Shadow Temple's such a meme. Always holding, like, you know, second magic or something back there, especially Deep Shadow Temple. Those floor masters get their little fingers on everything.
Yeah, in this scenario, that's not likely to be... I mean, the second one could be in Ganon's, but the first could not be in there because it is going to be locked by Shadow.
Right. Skull logic better. Does one hook shot put 50 in logic?
You'd have to count them.
You'd have to count them because we do have boomerangs, so that puts a lot of child ones in logic. But the only reason I'd hesitate on going to Jabu personally is I hate that place, man.
Not 50 skulls. You won't get guaranteed 50 good skulls, though, is the issue.
Yeah. Our runners have the opportunity to pick up a few skulls here in Jabu, actually, that are pretty quick with the boomerang, except that one stupid side room that I don't think any runner's going to go into. I mean, at least I wouldn't, with the 2 Octorocks.
At the very least, they all have access to bottle, even though they all don't have letter yet.
Mm-hmm. We have Jay doing adult archery game, so they're about to find one of their second strength, it looks like. Aeronaut about to go into Volvagia here.
Yeah, I love that setup to get into the Volv door. Super duper easy.
It is really easy. And it's really nice. Especially, I love finding early keys in Fire. I hate climbing Fire. So being able to find a boss key early and hopefully not have to do the rest of the temple's nice. And it looks like we have Master in the upper right there going to check Boomerang Room and take on the tentacles. Already making their way through Jabu. Yeah, you're glad you skipped this one, Emo?
Yeah, this doesn't... It's not a really appealing situation that they're all in. Yeah, a lot of big issues in this seed, I would say, from a runner's perspective.
What would make you happier right now? Like, let's say, what next check in Jabu, what would you want to see out of it? Bombs?
Bomb bag.
Bomb bag?
Yeah. As a runner, yeah, bomb bag. Give me that or, like, hovers or something.
Hovers would be sick.
It would start to narrow down the shadow issue, but, yeah, probably just bomb bag.
Mm-hmm. If there are 2 bomb bags in Shadow, this seed might take a little while.
They're not going to find out until they have been fully out of checks and are only getting skulls, too, I think, for the majority of racers.
Yeah, I think aggressively collecting skulls right now is good, but I wouldn't be stretching.
Up to 20 is fine, yeah.
Yeah, up to 20 is good. After that, I'm going to be like, I'm hoping there's another bag. I don't really...
You probably have a dungeon, even if it's Water Temple, and I think these runners don't, because there's no hook still, but...
Right. Yeah, no hook or bomb bag this early. Our runners are pretty well set with Boomerang, Megaton Hammer, Mirror Shield, some of the tricky
no hints
items.
of the Kokiri Sword either.
Yeah, but they don't know where...
As a runner.
They don't know where Kokiri Sword is. They don't have bomb bag. They don't have hook shot.
Alex using the Astrats from Alex.
Ooh.
Just throwing Rudo to kill the Reyes, I guess.
I mean, why not? Maybe he'll summon bomb bag.
It really wants to preserve his sticks.
Summon a big chest. Is ass the way to explosives? Usually it's the other way around. Oh no, that's Kokiri sword.
Nice.
All right, there we go.
Kind of funny that he preserving his sticks because he doesn't have K-Sword, but if he had aggressively used them, he would get K-Sword anyway.
Right.
So, like, he's probably rolling his eyes, I would imagine.
Well, at least he found it.
Ooh, get big tentacle hit.
Feels bad to get hit by the tentacle, but can't be avoided sometimes.
Yeah, the boomerang moves peculiar at times.
Could Deku be bomb bag? Didn't we get a hint that's something around Theros Baron? I forgot.
We know about the long shot on Spirit Trial.
Mm-hmm. But in Deku Tree, I forgot. Was that our Baron dungeon?
No, it was Bomb the Well.
Oh, bottom of the well, that's right.
That's also, like, just adding on to the pie here of reasons why I'm pretty glad I skipped out on this one. Not something you actively seek out to be in this kind of a situation. It is novel, though. Great for restream.
Oh, yeah, no. I was talking about this star on the 5th qualifier where, sometimes reasonably so, our commentators are very sympathetic individuals, and when they see a really tough seed going on, they're like, wow, I hate to be doing this seed. And I'm just like, I don't know, I love watching this seed. It makes the runners go that bit farther. We see more derivation and strategy, and we really start seeing them scratch their heads as they're looking. So it makes for great watching content. But yeah, if I was in the runner situation right now, I'd be like, I'm just gonna keep doing what I can.
That's why, part of the reason why I think the tournament organizers did a really great job this season is just presenting these kinds of skill testing issues for the runners, trying to find the best OTR player in the world. I think we'll find them, whoever they are. Ooh, the ass.
Vibruto?
Yeah, Vibruto.
that's see, you just got to use Ruto and then you'll get Kokiri.
All right. Love to see it.
Yeah, we have Jay going to Jabu Jabu. Makes sense. They already did fire. And we have Master and Vidya finishing up Jabu Jabu. Aaron out back in Goron City, it looks like. Finishing off Big Octo, no problem. Just moving on through. Either of our Baron hints. I don't think we've gotten any more path hints, right?
No. And yet, Aeronaut, again, farming even more money for more bomb chews.
You think he's going to go for more chews?
This is crazy. I think I would go to Ice if I were him. Because you already know Feroz is at the bottom of a fountain, so...
you have boots.
You're really going to hard commit to this instead of... Well, he could be doing a lot of different things right now. Yeah, he still hasn't found that letter, though. That's the only real issue for him, and why he's kind of forced to do this. Routing just didn't line up with the Ruto's letter chest and the Reed Grotto and Cac.
Yep.
Already went, and well, I guess he hasn't been to the bow game. That would also give him strength, too.
Well, he is top of DMT, so he might just be shaking his way down.
Probably. Well, he's going to be warping here. It's Nocturne. Yep.
GTG could have Bomb Bag. Aeronaut already poked his head in there. There's nothing in the central area for GTG, and then the freestanding item in the Silver Rupee room was just a key. Aeronaut wasn't poised to do anything else in GTG, though. So there could be something in the other rooms.
It could be straight 2 locked, hook locked, any which way locked. It could be toilet for all we know.
Gosh, if this become Bomb Bag on toilet.
I mean, it's accessible right now. It's not the craziest thing.
They do have Song of Time, and they got boots now. They could do it. I don't think they will. That might be one of the later ones they go to. But you still focus on getting those tokens. Not a bad idea, especially since those boomerang ones in Jabba Jabba are pretty quick. And then we're about to see Aeronaut here in the bottom right get their second strength upgrade from archery game here. So it looks like chat's asking if we could explain why we got 2 Bane hints. Does it tell us anything interesting about the randomizer, telling us about lights? Is it more important than other stuff? Do you want to try and answer that one, Emo?
It's a little complicated, but yeah. Chat pointing out path priority. It's basically it. There's a whole document on it. I would encourage you to read it if you have questions.
That document on the randomizer?
Yeah, it's not. No, I think it's in Discord, I believe. It's under S8 announcements, one of those channels.
Okay, so in the S8 operative time randomizer Discord channel.
It's kind of like the Spirit Key Logic doc. A little bit less nebulous, but...
Mm-hmm. In this case, the 2 Bane hints gave us the, of course, Megaton Hammer on Child Fishing, which then, back of Goron City Maze, Hammer side was Light Arrows. So kind of it gave us the key, and it told us where the door was, effectively.
Did you try for the one ring throw strat? Didn't quite work there.
I hate that room.
It's not a great room. That Octorok is so
terrible.
troll.
Not just the Octorok. What always gets me is I always jump slightly too soon before the platform starts wiggling and becomes solid. So I always missed it getting on it.
Easier to see on emulator than VC.
That's true.
And is going for boxless. Did not get it first try. All right.
Sorry, it's an easy one to reset up off of, though.
And it's a trick I refuse to learn. I'm just going to tilt myself off the face of the planet. Mm-hmm. If I get it, 2-3 times, not get it in a row, I'm just never getting it for like 10 minutes.
I think if you're doing glitch logic where you can just skip doing Big Octo altogether, it's a worthwhile trick to learn. But
yeah, sure.
When we're doing glitchless and we have to do Big Octo anyway, it can save a few seconds, but man, I'll just grab the box.
I'm a box boy through and through in quals.
I love my boxes.
I am not leaving that box behind.
No.
If I could, I'd bring him with me. I'd throw him at Baronade. Hey.
I don't know if Baronade would appreciate it. He spent money on that box.
I don't think it would do anything. I think it would just break if you could do it. If you could somehow spawn a box in there.
Everyone finishing Jabu will rush Deku. Possibly. That looks like the play that Master Alex is going for right now in the upper right. Because they're getting your 2 hints there. Which there's that path to Bongo Bongo hint again. And then it's going to go check the second hint behind Deku Tree. And then they're just going to go straight into the Deku. As while we don't have Slingshot, we of course have Nuts. So we can still take out Goma, no problem, since this seed setting starts us with nuts. Or a full nut bag. Or nut container.
I actually don't think there are boxes in any room with a skull in them, so I don't think we could ever know without practice tools, probably.
Mm-hmm. I might have missed it. Were both the hints on Deku Tree, both the path to Bongo Bongo hints? Jabu to Bongo? Jabu to Bongo, well, we found Kokiri's sword in Jabu. Unless, what was the Jabu? Forget what was...
Yeah, the K-Sword was found in there. The magic was found...
Oh, I wrote that down. Child Side Spirit.
Yeah.
In the Stalfos room. Stalfos Bridge, large bubble room. Alright, we're in Slingshot room right now for Deku Tree and Master in the upper right. So let's see what these 2 chests are. We got one big chest where Slingshot normally is. Let's see what's up at top. Tiny sneaky chest. So what's in the Slingshot chest?
Ooh, I think J-Bone just VC crashed. Just VC crashed.
Oh, we got a VC crash on Jay. That's unfortunate. But Master just found Bomb Bag and Slingshot chest of Deku.
Ooh, duality randomizer right there.
One
VC
very
crash, or you can
very
find your first bomb bag with the other one being at 50.
So there we go. We don't have to get our 50 Skulltulas now for the bomb bag. Exactly. F them 50 skulls. Who needs them? The magic is not in us the whole time. I think the only thing in us is water. What? Go on.
It's really not a bad location for first bomb bag.
No, it's not.
Another big chest in here too.
I would love to get that as my first bomb bag location because I still suck at basement skips.
It's all hinges on how fast you go to lake, by the way, because your hammer was there. which
absolutely.
access the letter, and
another big chest next to the gold
Skulltula,
which is bigger wallet.
Rank 2 is also hammerlocked. It's kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Path of Bane, which is it's really goes to show how variable the Bane path can be. Sometimes it's just lights are here. Sometimes this item unlocks everything, and but you do technically need it for lights too.
Right. Hammer's one of those items that I love finding early because it lets me do a lot of stuff without spending bombs. And in this case, the hammer is more like a key this seed. It's unlocking everything. Do you have to do Jabu Jabu all over again? I think so. I don't think they saved. They at least have to do Barret. Yeah, they're at the bottom.
Yeah, they have to do it all. Has to get the K sword again too.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully he remembers which check it's on.
We have Master going into Goma though here. Learning that 23 is number 1. F in the chat for Jay. Share your Fs, everybody.
Yeah, virtual console faster, but sometimes this can just happen. So glad I'm a emulator player through and through.
I'm also an emulator player, just easier.
No, it's a little slower. Yeah, really easy to set up. Accessibility through the charts,
Mm-hmm. So Master with a quick kill on Goma. Going to be getting that fire, and then we can check Burning Cack, see what's behind that. We're already getting guesses that it's ZL in chat here. If that's not ZL, then it's got to be Prelude. Which will require runners to finish fourth, and they still haven't found Hookshot yet.
Yeah, well, Hookshot now becoming the problem item. See, the great part is you won't find it in GTG, the items that they have, because it locks everything else in there.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen from Aeronaut's side. However, the other 3 runners haven't been there at all yet. Master Alex is going to go to Child Spirit. It's going to be good for him. He'll find the magic in there.
Yep. Child Spirit's a good play. Play Requiem, get out of Kokiri really fast, go start checking.
It's a play I would just recommend to most players, regardless of how good they are. It's just a good habit to get into, because once you start skipping Child Spirit, especially if it's a progression dungeon, you're just going to get super key logicked sometimes. It's not gonna
absolutely.
Feel great. And sometimes there's just items in there too, so...
I feel like being able to capture gameplay on emulator at the same time as playing is not too bad. I don't really think anything's too resource intensive. But if you got a Wii laying around that you're not using, then yeah, totally go for it. My Wii's in a box collecting dust. Haven't had to break that out in a while. So it looks like our runners are basically all on the same path right now. We got 2 runners finishing up Jabu. Again, unfortunately, Jay had the crash, but they'll just speed through Jabu knowing already what's there. Master and Childside Spirit. And we got Vidian Basement. Yep.
He's playing out a little weird. It's like they're all in progression for the most part, except one player. It's a different player each time.
Oh, yeah. It's just playing hot potato around our runners here.
Controlled by the bubble there for Alex, but just getting it. Nice try. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Getting more trolled, even though it's a stun bubble.
But I'm sure he's happy to find that magic. That's a load off our runner's mind. And with Bomb Bag, could go get Dins, and all we're missing is Hovers, and I guess Hookshot for Shadow. So it looks like Master's saving quitting. Would you suspect that they're maybe going back to adult now? Or do you think they have a few other things they want to do as child?
We did 2 progression dungeons. Haven't really found a whole lot. There's not really a whole lot else to do as child, so...
Right. Our runners did a pretty good job of scouring high roll as child early on, so... Yeah, I'd agree. There's probably not too much left to do here, other than go adult and start doing what you can. Which, I don't... It doesn't look like a master started or finished fire, so that might be top of mind for them right now.
Yeah, probably that, followed by adult lake play, I think would make a lot of sense before GTG.
I'd agree. Adult lake's pretty fast checks, even though we don't have Serenade, but...
It's already path, so you're already likely to have been there and have planted the bean at this point in the seed.
You could also get a Scarecrow song, even though you don't have hook shot, but you can grab it.
Yeah, might still be relevant. We don't know.
So there's Master doing Bomb Shoe Bowling. First reward's not desirable, but we know the second is Dins, so don't be surprised by it when you see it. Was Spinning Pot hinted? Not specifically, I don't think so. That'd be pretty wild if Spinning Pot had something, though, considering how much Goron City has already given us this seed.
I think Alex accidentally exited there. See, he's playing this for a third time. Okay, there we go. Gonna be getting the dance here.
I don't like going into Bomb Shoot Bowling either. I'm always tempted to leave immediately.
Oh, I love it. It's great. Super fast.
Great.
2 item checks. Centrally located for child. It's not too bad.
I know, but sometimes the cuckoos troll me, and I'm too lazy to learn a setup that avoids them.
I believe it's just on where you stand. You can use the same angle, but you have to go like far off left cam.
Yeah, just like Master just did.
Accidentally said no. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, it's unfortunate. Bossage. Feels bad once you get all the equipment and then life takes a turn, you don't have time to play. But it looks like after grabbing Dins, Master's actually just going to go straight back to adult. You think they're going to make that early shadow play? This wee ball?
Well, you can't do anything in shadow.
Yeah, right.
They don't have hovers. They don't have hook. You can go in and look at the gap that you're going to fall into, but
exactly.
I think ice makes also a lot of sense. You already have the logic to go there. A lot of these runners also have BFA, and half of them have magic. It's like 3/4 are going to have magic now with video. Checking Child Spirit, getting paid off, going to get the magic.
Yeah, so it looks like he is going to go for fire like we guessed earlier.
Yeah, you just want to get your progression dungeons out of the way. So you're always going to see that first. If you don't, there's usually a really huge reason. It has to be a good one. Especially in a qualifier setting like these individuals on Restream here, all great runners. So I'll have I think, pretty decent chance of making top 32.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think it's so competitive this season. I think all 4 of these runners might not make it.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
And again, joining us today.
It's rough out there. It's no one's safe, man.
Joining again, I guess, for the Restream today is J-Bone, Master Alex, Vigigames, and Aeronaut. Shared their links there in chat, so make sure to follow them. They're doing a great job. Thank you for co-commentating with me today, Emo Soda. And thank you again to our trackers, who are all doing an excellent job in keeping us up to date. Of course, those being Tumultalk, Veva, Mr. Moxie, and Celine. Thank you very much. Where was Fire BK? Fire BK is vanilla, so it's just with a lock Goron in the first room.
Yeah, I've confirmed that Goron City to Bongo hint. It's interesting.
But right now, we're not seeing anything too new. So this is a really good time to talk about what else we'll think we're going to be seeing in this seed. Like what is behind Shadow, if anything. We had a lot of Path to Bongo Bongo hints, so I think that points towards Bongo Bongo happening much later. We know that
the Goron City one, that's just pointing to Bombag and Deku because of the K-Sword and Jabu, so...
Right. You need so much to get through Shadow, so a lot of things tend to point there.
Yeah, Shadow needs a lot of items, spirit sometimes, water usually, so any kinds of those paths, not too surprising to see multiple of them. Usually you can get a lot of information like that.
Yep.
But again, might not be good information.
Nope.
Currently, the runners are just hook starved here. We're approaching 90 minutes without any sign of a first hook. We know what the second hook is, though, which is in the Spirit Trial, which is locked by Shadow, which is locked by, right now, Hovers.
Yep.
So, yeah, a lot of competing problems, I would say, for the runners' attentions. Let's see which ones are more pressing for them.
Bomb Bag is behind 50 skulls, so that would be a big stretch. But that Deku Bomb Bag, like Emo's pointing out, was probably on the path there, given how early you can find it. Zeal and Burning Cack. Master is the only one in the position to check, and they have yet to look. Well, I guess Vidya's now in that position, but it doesn't look like Vidya's making the Burning Cack play either right now. Looks like they went and grabbed Dins, and they're going back adult. Maybe they will go to Burning Cack and take a peek. But we
won't know because that's all hook locked anyway. Because it's locked by forests. You can't do Burning Cack without a forest man. So still super duper hook locked. Yeah, we'll see where that brings the runners here. I think the only real question is it going to be a hook locked Hovers or a Hovers locked hook?
I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Hovers locked hook because I love hover boots. No logic behind it, just hover boots.
It's more likely the other way around. We haven't seen any of Forest yet.
Yeah, I don't believe Hook-shotless Shadow's allowed in this, is it?
No, so it's required. So you need both for Shadow anyway, but I think it's a lot more likely that Hovers are probably just in like Forest and Hooks on 20 or something.
That is much more likely, but
it would also get rid of a lot of the logical issues too with the bomb bag, multiple bomb bags, long shot on Spirit Trial, which the restream runners, they have no idea how that's currently connected to their routes. So we'll see where that brings them. They're running out of options here is the issue. And again, we're approaching the 90-minute mark in a qualifier. They have 4 meds, most of them are approaching it. So I wouldn't feel too bad, but every minute that passes, that it could be like a potential 5 runners finishing in the end. So definitely going to be putting a lot of pressure on the runners to make a decision.
As a reminder for everybody, the seed settings is that Ganon's Castle boss keys on 6 medallions, which is why we're so considered with getting those 6. But Rainbow Bridge is the vanilla from the game, which would be Shadow and Spirit medallions and light arrows. So that's also why we're sitting here thinking about, wow, where are they going to go? We're going to be last checking anything soon. Are we going to have runners going back to fire and working up? That's the kind of position that we're now thinking about.
Yeah, adult spirit. Yeah, that's. I mean, you have ice, you have adult spirit, you have GTG for 3 of the runners. Yeah, it's definitely appealing. I would say most of it's in logic.
Most of it, but you're still missing a few checks without Zelda's Lullaby, and it's just annoying without Hookshot, man.
I don't think there was no small key in Child Spirit. They all looked and there was nothing on the second one. So be a 50-50 between a Zeal hook locked check and the first right check in Adult Spirit. And that's not, I don't know, it's not really a risk I would be excited to make. Or a play I'm not really excited to make because of the risk involved, but there's a big chest there on Master Alex's side, deeper into fire. That's also another location we haven't really considered here. It's all bomb locked, so you can't really If you're trying to play within the bounds of the seed, you can't go there with that bomb bag. Or a strength. And tough part for Alex here, he doesn't have a bow either. Only person here to not have a bow.
I just realized that as well. I guess I just assumed all the runners went and talked to Goron Link already. That's interesting.
For him, this is an especially risky play to go into fire because he could just get bow locked super easily on keys. Thankfully, he's fine here, but you can't. That's certainly going on in his head in terms of routing.
Yeah.
See what the big chest here is in a couple of minutes.
That'd be an interesting big chest. But Jay's getting their magic from Child Spirit, and they're warping out of there. With a Nocturne going back to CAC. And then we have Vidya finishing up fire. And we have Aeronaut going into Goma. Anything long shot locked is dead, pretty much.
Get a look here at the... what is this? The map or compass chest? I think it's the... It's only the map chest here. Compass is the one later on. After.
Yeah, this is the map chest. I hate this chest.
I think it's small.
Not hard. But luckily he doesn't have to jump back in for it. It's going to go up top. And start cleaning up here. And it looks like after Volvagia, Vidya's playing Requiem. Might be making that adult spirit play that we were just talking about.
Yeah, not a bad place to check. It is risky, but not bad, especially if you get a key. Kind of like Rob pointing out in chat, you'll get to know if it's hook locked very soon, which can put off a lot of the seed.
Yep.
Second strength there in fire for Alex. Interesting.
So our gold gauntlets are in fire. Deep fire.
Yeah, very interesting. Don't know if it'll actually end up mattering. It's going to go in deeper here. There's one more check and one more item check here, but it could be on Pierre. Oh, or he's going back. Might have been a key you saw here. It is.
Yeah, definitely going back. Probably a key. Yep.
Another key here, also on Vidya's side. So not locked out.
Like Jay's waiting for night to do night market.
Love to see it. Great time of day routing.
Yeah. Managing time of day, especially with is a good skill to learn. You don't want to play really Sunsong if you don't have to.
It's like 10-15 seconds each time you play it.
Yep. With the normal day is like 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Something like that.
Day is longer than night, so I don't remember exactly the specifics on that.
About to find out what is in that compass chest, though, in Fire Temple. It looks like up on Master's side. Tiny, don't care. Getting out of there. And it looks like we're about to see what's on Spirit Statue Torches on Vidya's side.
Yeah, 3 keys found now.
Getting those keys out of the way early.
That's a magic locked key. See if there's any more keys here. If not, then not well versed on my spirit key logic to say definitively, but
oh yeah, it gets tricky.
Oh, one big chest, okay. Just another bow. Damn. Okay. That's not a backup bow for Alex either, so really has to get the bow that we know about.
Mm-hmm. Again, got to go back to Goron City and check Goron Link, which I know is looking pretty tough because they already checked.
Kind of surprising. That's surprising you didn't check it at all. Maybe you forgot.
It's very possible.
It's kind of pressed for choose like half the seed so far, so like it makes sense.
It's also easy to forget about when you have multiple path hints. You go in Goron City and you already find 2 good things, and then you're like, surely there's not a third thing, right?
Well, even then, like there was a strength in DC. So if you do like a super basic play of just like 3-song plus, I guess I'll go Lake because it's Lake Path Bane. I probably have to do it. You just go to your hammer immediately. You go adult, go to CAC to DC, and you just follow it up with Goron City, or you go there beforehand.
Right.
Those like really micro decisions like that can really have huge impacts. Of do I do Crater Goron City before DC? Goron City was Path Bane as well. I don't know if they knew that at the time, but yeah, huge implications here from a very small decision. That's why qualifiers are so exciting, nerve-wracking. I don't know. Depends on your perspective, who you are. But
Neru's love on Courage Trial in Goron City. Let's go.
Man.
We're feeling the love tonight. And it looks like Aeronaut's also going to check Spinning Pot. Just clean up Goron City. And we have Vidya climbing up. Spirit side again, it looks like.
Nice Majora's Mask music coming in for Jay. It's interesting.
Oh.
This is Snowhead Temple.
Everyone loves Snowhead, right? We all love Roland Goron. Just don't fall. Jay making the same adult spirit play right now, which again might pay off. Haven't found anything too exciting yet, but still got some of their checks to do.
Yeah, I found almost all the keys, so it's a lot of item checks.
Chat, Adult Lake is not ugly checks. There's only beautiful, pretty, handsome checks in Adult Lake. He's saying
there's another big chest.
A big chest. Slingshot. Okay.
Dang. First slingshot found.
Yep. But I don't know. I think Lakeside Lab Professor is pretty handsome. Just wants to eat some frog eyeballs. Who doesn't?
There's no dentist in Hyrule. I don't know how you can expect like him to look better.
Yeah. He looks even crazier
no
in the manga.
Hyrule,
Another big chest, by the way. There's the hovers.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. Spirit Temple's got our hovers right before Iron Knuckle Room.
So we're just missing the trifecta of Stone Dungeons having everything. Can't go in there without Hook, and Hook's needed for Go. So we're not going to see Water Temple as soon, unfortunately, for you viewers out there. But hovers does help.
Love hovers.
Him out here.
I told you, hovers before Hook shot.
Vidya's been ahead this whole time, by the way.
Vidya's killing it right now. All of our hovers were in tug of war for a while, but that hovers find is big, which looks like J-Bones isn't too far behind in this sense.
Yeah, Jay's catching up.
Aeronaut was looking really strong for a while, but they're cleaning up Child and not really having too much to show for it yet. But Aeronaut's a really strong player, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just start catching up all of a sudden.
Oh, I mean, your options just aren't that great. So you either revisit Fire, go Spirit. Still no Ice here for the runners. It could be like Hook and Ice too.
Yeah, this Roxy does have a good point that Jay's VC crash set him about a couple minutes behind as well. How to redo Jabu.
That is a good point. Otherwise, he would be ahead at this point on restrain.
Jay getting excited here, finding hovers most likely.
And it looks like Aeronaut's choosing Spirit,
which we now know is a good pick. And we have Vidya starting to work on Shadow Temple, working towards Dead Hand. We are Hook from Go mode. That does look that way. The beginning of the seed was pretty rough, but it's coming around pretty nicely here at the hour and a half mark. We still don't know where that first hook shot is. It could still be a while. But there's a lot of fast checks coming up here, so... maybe Dead Hand's got it. Probably not, but you never know. What was on the other hand? I believe the other hand was dead.
Yeah, they're both dead.
Yep. Have we seen Skull? We know 10 skulls is dead. I don't think we've seen 20.
Not yet.
If our runners are still looking for hookshot after Shadow Temple, I wouldn't be surprised if they go check 20 or get a couple Skulltulas and see what 20 is. All right, Vidya's making the play to go into Shadow proper now. As Jay clears up to top of Spirit on adult side. Oh, there's Boss Key.
Needs a hook to go any further, so if I were him, I would just leave immediately.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way you come back here for Twin Rovo. I don't know.
You heard that right? Hook shot.
You need hook for go.
Yeah,
so,
you need.
Like, I don't know what he's doing here.
Oh, big Goron sword. You do need hook shot to logically complete Shadow, right?
You do, yeah. You can only go to the double redead room with the spikes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, especially after you found hover. I don't know what Jay's doing here, but
being thorough.
It's on autopilot, I guess.
Sometimes it pays off to be thorough in these checks. Other times, once you find what you need, you just got to get out. I think an hour and a half in, I'd probably lean towards the latter, being, oh, I got what I need. I'm just going to.
I mean, he did have the crash earlier. Maybe that's still just like clouding his judgment. I don't know. Yeah. I'd be pretty mad about it too, still, if I were him. So that was only like 30 minutes ago. So might be still a little raw for him.
Our runners do have wind. If I was Jay and I really wanted to check, be in the position to check Spirit again later, I would just probably set wind and leave. Oh wait, no one's gone to Fountain.
No one has wind yet.
I forgot. Sorry, I just kind of figured by now people were gone to ice, but I guess they might not need to. We'll see.
Big chest here, video side. This is like mid Shadow Temple almost, but it's just another slingshot. Especially after, like, if you have to go into Shadow without a hook, I don't know. I would want to at least like have a Furores, so you know.
How'd they get to ice without?
Probably don't really have that luxury though. Having to go all the way to Fountain just to get your Furores, you probably want to set it there, honestly.
Yeah, you can use hover boots to get past Waterfall as adult to get to the Zoras. I don't know if that's logic though. Logically,
nope, never in logic.
Yep. So we got video checking falling spike room with another big chest. Lots of teases here in Shadow. Let's see if this is it. Nope, it's another bomb bag. We have Jay heading into Shadow now. Ready with those hovers. And we have Aeronaut still checking adult side Spirit. Gonna come up with those hovers in a few minutes there. Bomb bag, lock bomb bag. There's at least one of them.
Oh, that's all the bomb bags then, because we know the third one's on 50.
Yep.
Well, chat wasn't too far off. There was one in Shadow.
That's true. We did find one.
Wasn't that many locations, to be fair, like available. So, really, I'm so interested to see what's in ice here. I think there's a real possibility just hooks just sitting in there, or like 20 or something.
I know, but
Oh,
another big chest in the redead room. Is this it? There were 2 slingshots in Shadow Temple.
Yikes! Getting clowned by Shadow.
Shadow's giving everything that you don't really care about at this point. So that's pretty fun. But we have master planning Beans at Lake Hylia, thinking about going doing those adult checks, it looks like. Really like, where is this hook shot?
Yeah, we haven't seen the Lost Woods target yet, because they've all been very unpleasant, I would say, slingshot targets.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think all of our runners already cleared out Lost Woods for the most part. So
ooh, nice video play here with the what's it called? Ground jump.
Oh, ground jump, yeah.
Yeah, you can do a jump slash at the height of the bump jump.
Mm-hmm.
Usually you see it on Haunted Wasteland, but it's a nice backup to get up to 20.
Yeah, I agree with Chad here. I think Vidya is making the play to check 20 skulls.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I mean...
Yeah. We're really stretching at this point.
There's like nothing else open for him, I think.
Yep.
Maybe like Goron, Child Goron City, but we've seen that on Alex's side. He hasn't seen it, though.
Yeah, well, Aeronaut went there and cleared it out as well.
Yeah.
So we don't have too much to do there. It looks like Master's looking for Gold Skulltula playing Sunset.
It is, yes! Damn, I should have played this scene.
Yeah, would you have been aggressive on those?
Yeah, that's what I was saying to do 40 minutes ago. There's no bomb bag in sight.
All right, well, Vidya James is the first of these 4 runners in Go mode, which no one's finished this seed yet. So Vidya James pretty primed to get one of those top slots, it looks like. And straight in the forest.
Just complete and go here. Very nice. Has to do the read up into shadows, the only thing. So I would assume whoever wins this race probably gets 20. Like I said, like probably an hour ago they got hook. Which could lead to some situations where like maybe they do go into water. Maybe they do go to Twin Rova if they're missing, I don't know, some random other item, you know.
Boss key in the first room of forest. That's nice.
All the shadow items have been pretty spread out amongst the locations too, so it's really easy, I think, to miss any of those.
Yeah,
especially if you get an early hook.
Yeah, so having everything he needs, Vidya James is just gonna blitz through forest, killing the 4 Poe sisters. I don't think he's gonna reach for any checks at this point.
Yeah, a lot of players pretty torn on skulls just in general. Some either get 0 every time and they'll just get punished if there's an item on 10 or 20, or there's others that will get 10, 20 in like the first 30 minutes every seed if they can.
Yeah, the settings having 10, 20 not hinted can throw people off. Because you can just like see 30, 40, 50. And in this case, we knew 50 was important with Bomb Bag, but of course, I'm sure many of the runners just wrote that off and be like, I'm just going to hope I can find another one earlier. I'll just get some Skulltulas along the way. Vidya was, out of the 4 of these runners, definitely was reaching for skulls sooner than later than a lot of them, but it looks like Master might be doing the same thing here and checking their 20. Yeah. ZL is definitely on Burning Cack at this point.
Unfortunately for Alex, he doesn't have the hovers.
Mm-hmm. Hasn't gone through Adult Spirit side quite yet, or at least not far enough. Okay, they only had enough to check 10 skulls. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't think he got any in Jabu. He skipped a bunch of easy child ones as well. I think he still has child CAC too. He wants to go back, switch ages, but
in these settings,
extremely palatable. Yeah,
I would not be skipping Skulltulas until you know what your 20 is, if you can avoid it.
That's been one of the like better changes too with the season. 30 to 50 being in Skullhouse rather than clogging up hints. Really nice design. Still adds the variable factor of even if you don't get your 30 to 50 hints, like there's still some play there with 10, 20. Has a lot of logical applications as well.
According to our tracker, Mr. Moxie's reporting that J-Bones only has 5 gold Skulltulas right now. That's going to put him very far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, skipping skulls is unfortunately not the play in this seed, because that is your only hookshot option, is that 20.
You kind of have to, well, you don't have to really like hard go for 20 in the seed either. You can kind of do what Video's been doing this whole time, which is, and honestly, really just the lake route is all it comes down to. Just going there early. So it unlocks everything, especially your ability to get easy skulls in good situations. I think was really key, because it led to him getting ring pretty early on too.
Yep. Yeah, ideally in these settings, you want to be able to grab Skulltulas while you're clearing the dungeons. Obviously, if you're doing stuff without hookshot, that limits some stuff, or if you don't have ring for a while, that limits some stuff. But ring being as early as it was really helped with just picking up a lot of Skulltula tokens along the way, and then just not skipping easy ones in CAC. Like we've already seen Vidya go do Child Night CAC to go pick up its Skulltulas, which not all of our runners went back and did.
At least for this qualifier season, me personally, I haven't come up with the list of skulls, but there's like basically a preconceived list of skulls in my head that I will only get those skulls because the other ones are just too slow.
Yeah, and it looks
couldn't tell you which ones they are yet, but that's the strat I'm going with this season.
Mm-hmm. Jay's making that deep fire play, which we already know from I believe it was Master, is unfortunately not going to come up with anything that we don't already have. Other than... Yeah. I guess there's strength 3, but we already know outside Ganon's castle's dead, and obviously the inside's not required. So, strength 3 is not going to be too much help here. I think we're going to be seeing some runners who were able to get that 20 check earlier and haven't had to backtrack as much, go back and doing that shadow dip that Vidya's supposed to do. Probably in the next 15, 20 minutes.
That plus the backtrack for skulls. I think that's
true.
Even worse.
I'm sure Jay's not the only one who's been snapping on skulls.
I think there's an accidental bomb drop there by Video. I don't know. Attempted swag, maybe.
Hmm.
Oh, I think he tried to pull a bomb out as he's... that wouldn't make sense. He was supposed to grab the ledge. I don't know.
Yeah, Master Alex finally finding their first bow. As they've been running this whole time without one. And then Aeronaut working through Shadow. So Aeronaut following a pretty similar footsteps of Vidya. Vidya is just quite a bit ahead. And I don't know how many Skulltula tokens Aeronaut has. I don't know how much they've been on top of collecting those so far. Does having Hook 1 earlier bait you into anything? Maybe you would check Forest sooner. And we know nothing super important.
Required. Yeah.
Yeah. That's about it. Like maybe you do Forest sooner, but Forest
it unlocks all your ZL checks earlier, so I guess I would open up Ice and any ZL checks really.
Mm-hmm.
Which, at least where the item locations were, I'm not sure it would, but I guess it depends on how soon are you getting 20 skulls in a qualifier seed, specifically this one.
I'm sure. Once all of our racers realize hook shots on 20 skulls, the ones who did not stay on top of their skull count at this point are going to for the remaining qualifiers. That is a sting.
There might be some that just straight up forfeit because it's not in their qual strategy to collect skulls. So I don't think that'd be crazy to see. You're going to see a lot of forfeits and a lot of quick finishes.
Yeah, and it's still qualifier 8, so we're almost halfway through our 20 set of qualifiers, so many of these runners still have forfeits to be done. This is definitely one of those seeds where you could think about forfeiting if you get really far checking and then you start people finishing, and then you start metaing, and you're like, wait, hookshot's somewhere easier than where I am. What's going on?
Yeah, as far as forfeits versus finishing, it really depends on where you are with quals. And I think on average, most players should probably finish more seeds rather than forfeit, especially when it has a lot of point implications.
Mm-hmm.
Especially even the first half of quals, I would say you just shouldn't forfeit unless you know you're super, super far behind, like you're 30 minutes behind or something.
Right.
After finding go mode and there's like 30 finishers already, sure. But even for Challenge Cup, 800 point finishes are still relevant. And that's a lot of time between first finisher and most of these qualifier seeds. So,
yep.
Even if you find something out super late, there's already 10 finishers. It's usually best case scenario just to keep going. You never know what's going to happen in quals.
So to Rob Dog's point in chat, I was also thinking about you could have get baited to GTG sooner if you got hook shot, but I think people would still go to Force before they even think about going to GTG, since again Force is required here.
Yeah, back half of GTG.
Yeah.
Depends on what order of items you're gonna find with finding hook that early too. And everyone knows where long shot is. That's not the question. So
exactly. And given all the items they have, they've probably already realized long shot's not needed for the seed.
Oh yeah, almost assuredly.
It looks like we have Master back in Spirit Temple.
He's going to get those hovers.
Yep. There's going to get those hovers eventually, and then be like, oh, okay. It's all coming together now. Jay still checking Deep Fire. And Vidya working through Forest. Aeronaut beating DC. Yeah, you can definitely see Vidya's on the path here, knowing they're in go mode. Master's going to be there very soon. Jay's going to be looking for a little bit since they've been skipping those gold Skulltulas. Aeronaut still on the hunt here. And again, Vidya's likely to be finishing pretty early. The only people beating them, like Emo said earlier, people who didn't have to go back and do that shadow dip and maybe were a little bit more aggressive on those Skulltulas.
Or both. But it kind of has to be that. Currently, on Restream at least, he's going to be a Forest Temple at the very minimum ahead of the other runners here. So, yeah, huge lead for Vidya.
Yeah, Azulian, in these settings, 10 and 20 gold Skulltulas are not hinted. So no runners know what those are until they unlock them. It's just 30, 40, and
additionally,
50 are hinted.
No CAC path as well. So there's not like any other like lines or like, things that would gravitate them towards skulls other than running out of checks, or it's part of your qual strategy.
Right.
Like it has to be one of those.
As chat pointed out earlier, the Death Mountain Crater Sheikah Stone was hinted for burning CAC for Zelda's Lullaby, but our runners didn't have explosives for so long. They already checked DMC. They're not really going to go back out of their way for that hit in most cases. But as Master was looking around, they're like, check it, screw it.
But he's trying to min-max his purple Poe here. Ends up losing a little bit of time, probably as much as he saved. You can tell which Poe it is by just staring at the screen. And that one will appear first on the screen, so you always know which one it's going to be. They don't have to spin.
That's good tech to know.
He saved some time on the first couple, but I think he just lost all the time save.
Yeah, personally, I kind of go into autopilot when fighting Meg, the purple Poe.
Especially now where they spawn a lot quicker in between each, cycle, I guess you'd say.
Mm-hmm.
They used to I think even just in that 7, even, that was a lot slower. Your push blocks were a lot slower, right?
Right.
Pretty sure that wasn't an S7. Maybe it was. Age change, cutscene,
I do
really
like all the
things.
Minor changes, optimization. Obviously, fast push blocks is goated. Like, I hate playing vanilla OOT and being like, damn, pushing this block so slow.
I think for most players, they probably fall into the camp of I like the concept of OOT, but I don't like the actual vanilla game. And Randomizer kind of fulfills that real small niche.
Sure.
It was incredibly effective at doing so.
There's a lot of randomizers that do that. I think a really great example of that is the Donkey Kong 64 randomizer, because Donkey Kong 64, for those who don't know, loves wasting your time. And the randomizer kind of kills all that, so it makes it immediately more playable.
The only thing that the community kind of has to come to an agreement on, or an organizing committee for the community, you have to take into account, okay, what's actual like game design, like what actually is bad for player experience, what is just like a quirk of the actual game that you're playing. Because a lot of people have a lot of really diverse opinions on that. And
yeah, especially when it comes to...
Not every game does it the same, too.
Yeah, especially when it comes to certain things that actually have gameplay conflict. Like, it's obviously not an issue for glitchless, but Darunia, skip and fire temple, if you're doing a glitch seed, and if people are allowing boss door skips, turning that cutscene off like we do in this randomizer would be a big deal there. So it also varies in niches of the community as well.
Yeah, which is something you can also just turn that on and this randomizer as well too. He doesn't just completely gut it, which is nice.
Oh yeah, I like having the options, but yeah, for season runs like this, there's obviously a lot of conference that goes on. Of course, like which glitchless strategies are and aren't allowed. For the most part, my understanding is they just follow the normal glitchless rule set for a speed run.
Yep. I'm not sure what the video's doing here.
Getting Zelda's Lullaby.
Oh.
Just cause.
Required, yes. No, it's required. You need it
yeah,
for
right?
the shadow, so...
Yep,
okay. And there's the first finisher, Floosh. No stranger to the top of the leaderboard, especially in these S8 qualifiers. Really just on a hot streak here.
Yeah, congrats, Floosh.
Place, 154.39, so still a sub 2. Honestly, not surprising, especially if you do skulls pretty early in the seed.
Yeah, your call of doing skulls early was definitely the play this seed.
Without a bomb bag, I don't know. I just think it's too risky in a qualifier like this because you have people that play that they color in their coloring book completely within the lines, and sometimes that makes it faster, than going out of logic.
Yep.
Where you're doing a lot of things that you might not realize actually, require other items or certain things to be true for it to pay off. Really kind of comes down to what your overarching kind of philosophy for randomizer. I mean, you can have several different ones, and it can all be right.
I can see the temptation to skip skulls if you're pretty dry on progression items, but our runners found hammer very early, which opens up a lot of potential skulls. Boomerang wasn't too far behind that, which opens up even more skulls.
Yeah, if you push hammer, lake path, just do like a medium size, like 10, 20 minute child one. Get your like standard quote unquote skulls, which includes night cack, trees here and there. I don't think it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely not.
If skulls had nothing, they'd probably lose time on this seed. So
yeah, some runners do take that approach where they see if 30, 40, 50 is just dead, they just don't worry about 10 and 20.
This is the real unfortunate thing that just the hook was not at all hinted at. So you had to play within the lines and the confines of logic to even realize it was there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're just going to be last locationing it here, which I think there's going to be a sizable portion that do that or forfeit in this seed.
Yeah, I think Jade
is unfortunate, but it's just how it goes in randomizer sometimes.
Yeah. I think Jadis went and got their 10 reward. And, oh, wait. No, they're almost at 10. They got 8 Skulltulas right now.
And we've got a second finisher. Alexis. Also a great runner. 157.07. Both French. Big French community in randomizer.
Yeah, Star was talking about that last time. There's a French restream. And French players show up.
Yeah, they're all really good on average, so...
Mm-hmm. I know Volk placed pretty high, and I think in Qualifier 5. And I believe they're also French.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it looks like Vidya's going back in to finish the Shadow Temple. Makes sense. And then we have Master going into Shadow Temple again.
It's first dip.
First dip. So, yeah, they're going to have to come back later, huh?
Yeah, 2-dip shadow, super. I would probably say it would be a super common problem to have here in the seed if you don't push the 20 skulls.
Yeah. Well, I think what happened is like we were talking about earlier, Jay's seeing people finish now, and Jay's going, "Oh, hook shot's easier than what I think it is," and now Jay's going around getting skulls.
13 for Jay currently. Okay.
Yeah. Luckily, we did find that Sun Song this seed, so if he needs to set time of day, he can. And that saves quite a bit of time, not having to wait out the cycles.
Yeah, these runners on Restream without the hook are going to have to hope that's going to be just the most spread out qual in terms of finishes that you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
3 minutes, give or take, 2.5 or so between first and second. That's not super crazy. I think if that holds place for like the first 20 finishers out of this, that's going to be, I don't know, that would be almost unprecedented. I think. So you have to imagine for them, they're thinking they're at least 20, 30 minutes behind when they find hook. So gonna be having to hope for that spread there.
Yeah, to address Blast's question in chat though, our runners are always getting better. And of course, settings vary from season to season. So some runners might find these settings a little bit more comfortable or a little less comfortable for them. But everyone's always getting better as they get more experience on their belts. And more information is always being found, documented, and strategy shared. So new runners get up to speed pretty quick. So they're always pushing it. Oh, and thank you for the raid, ZeldaSpeedRuns. We hope, I believe that was the Wind Waker tournament going on. We hope that was a lot of fun for you all. And yeah, happy 2 hours. Don't forget to hydrate. And thank you, Tumble Talk, for, again, plugging everybody who's been volunteering to make this restream possible. Emo Soda and me with co-commentary. And then we have our excellent runners here in front of us with J-Bone, Master Alex, Fidgy James, and Aeronaut. And our trackers again today are Tumble Talk, Veva, Mr. Moxie, and Celine. But welcome Raiders. We're actually nearing the end of this seed as we've had 2 people already finish, and Vidya James in the bottom left there is in go mode, heading to the back half of Shadow Temple right now, in a prime position to go ahead and take on Ganon soon. J-Bones in the upper left is still looking for hook shot. We also have Master Alex in the upper right, also looking for hook shot. And we have Aeronaut doing adult fishing, also looking for hook shot, finding out that this is the go mode item, which is behind 20 Skulltulas and Skulltula House in Kakariko Village. So people got to get on those skulls if they haven't been already. Sleeping on your tokens is not the play, unfortunately, this seed. And we have J-Bone going down to Lake Hylia doing those child Lake Hylia checks. Again, likely going there to clean up Skulltulas.
Probably one of the more brutal seeds in recent memory, especially in a qualifier setting. That just completely skull dependent.
Yeah, it's like one of those things where it's particularly brutal because it's right under your nose.
It's the only hook you can get.
Yeah, it's the only hook. We've been hinted earlier and know that the second hook is in Ganon's castle behind Spirit Trial, so that has to be long shot, and we know long shot's not useful for the seed. So our runners already wrote that out, so they have one hook to find, and it's on an unhinted 20 skulls. And that's an unfortunate position to be in when everyone's trying to go fast. Vidya was making the play out of the 4 runners to be a little bit more aggressive on the skulls and played off.
Yeah, especially considering Stone Spirit had the hover boots, and they were pretty deep, honestly. They were right before where you have to climb up to the vanilla BK chest, so really not a great situation to be in.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot.
2 skulls rare or not. Oh my gosh.
Darn.
Oh, that's disgusting. And this seed, specifically, that's rough.
Yep.
None routed in here. Oh, and goes in before it hits day or night, I think. I think that was too quick.
Yeah, it looks like our runners are piecing it together now. They're like, oh no, it's on the skulls.
Yep. Went into a little bit too quick there.
But you're having to check back a shadow to find that boss key.
Still no other finishers. Only 2 people have finished the seed in the last 10 minutes since Floosh finished.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the only thing that's really going in their favor right now. Yep. For those that have put off a little bit, I think Aeronaut's completely boned here. For like
yeah, unfortunately.
Jay is in an okay position. Again, you're still going to have like 20, 30 minutes added on to when you find the hook, wherever the hell it is, right. From their perspectives. Yeah, I would assume Video is just nervous here.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Hover boots were Spirit Temple, adult side, right before the Iron Knuckle, one of the invisible chests before the door. So you had to get about halfway through Spirit.
Which all of them have, thankfully.
Yep. They all figured it out. Now they're just on the prowl for that hook shot. Which
almost like the seed is like just putting these runners into a headlock, and it's like, do skulls. They're like, no. Yeah. All right, well, I'm going to have you in this headlock. All right. Well,
yeah, half our runners obviously are just in skull mode. And they're like, nah, it's got to be skulls. So they're just racing to find skulls, where we have Master here checking adult fishing.
That's why we haven't seen more forfeits, too. Still no finishes yet. The first 2.
Mm-hmm. I didn't miss it. I don't think we even had a 3rd place finish yet.
No, not yet.
Only two runners below sub 2. So this seed really got a lot of people. A video already finishing off Bongo Bongo. It's going to head straight to Ganon's Castle after this.
Yeah, going to finish in the top 7 here, so this is pretty much guaranteed 1,000 points, especially with these really spaced out finishes.
Yep.
Really great spot to be in for Video. To ask Video which number of qualifiers this is for him. I'm not entirely sure. I don't have the leaderboard pulled up.
We got a 3rd place finish, though, with Cola. 2 hours, 5 minutes, 51.
Ooh. All right.
But yeah, to your point, at the speed at which these finishes are coming in, it's very likely Video would be top 7. Yeah, but given the rate of these finishes going on right now, it's clearly this seed stumped many runners. Yep, Aeronaut getting the 10 skull check, finding that's not it. Oh, I'm gonna grab bugs here with bottle. Start getting those dirt patch Skulltulas.
And 20 pickup for Jay. There's his hook. He is off to the races. He's in go mode.
Yep. Now I have 2 runners here in go mode. Master opting to go back to Spirit. I don't remember how far they got the first time around, but it seems like they believe there's something else here to do. But the entering Ganon's Castle is going to run straight up to Ganon here in the bottom left. Jay going into Forest Temple. Got to get that required medallion at the end. Yeah, the 50 for the bomb bag was pretty mean, especially since one bomb bag ended up being bomb locked in Shadow Temple. So it was really just that Deku tree, which luckily Deku was required, so you're going to go there anyways. So it was staring you in the face, but getting into Deku required a few hoops there with going into Jabu Jabu to get Kokiri Sword. But all our runners showing us different mindsets on tackling the seed. If that 20 ended up being nothing, Skulltula, skipping the Skulltulas would have been nice. Saved a bit of time there, but ended up pulling the rug on him.
Yeah, that's why you have it like in the qual strategy for a lot of runners. It's why they just tend to ignore them all the time. Ooh, T-Ris! T-Ris in 4th place. Let's go. 2:08.25.
Congrats
Huge
to
finish.
T-Ris. Yeah. We still got 3 more places. Video coming up close. Might be tight. We might see a lot of people finishing soon. We got Vidya going into play tennis with Ganondorf here. And we have J Bones climbing up, getting through Force. Looks like Master's next check is playing Minuet. Maybe they're gonna start clearing up Skulltula's child. Maybe they're checking Slingshot target. Eight minutes between second and third is pretty surprising, but again, it looks like this seed tripped up a lot of runners, so not super surprising. Sub 2 hours again for both those runners. That's a very impressive time, but
yeah, I think if
runners.
You're min-maxing, you're either team 20 or you're just team no skulls for qualifiers, especially. There's no real I think if you do in between, it's just losing more time either way.
Mm-hmm. Which it seems that's the path that Master took, as I saw them collecting skulls for quite a bit, but it seems that they slowed down once they got around 10.
If you're not like hard stuck by it, you're just usually not doing skulls unless you aggressively have a game plan towards them.
Yep.
And either you're a skull player or you're not. It's not a lot of in between there.
Yeah, we did find a bottle pretty early. So if somebody really wanted to play aggressive, grab bugs, and start taking dirt patches, that was definitely an option. All right, we're on Ganon here for Vidya. It's coming up soon on a finish. So, unless a bunch of people finish all of a sudden, I think we're going to see Vidya be placing here somewhere in the top 7. Jerry's still working through Forest. No snipes. Hopefully no snipes. We'll see. That can happen. Let's see it. Oh, Tensai finishing 5th with a time of 2:11:49.
That's also a really good finish for them, Tensai.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's all right. Vidya's there. He's got this. He's got it on lock. Easy in the bag. Got to give him a bop on the nose. Anyone else hate that hook location? I love it. And congrats to Vidya James finishing with it looks like a 2:12:29. And finishing in 6th. So yeah, definitely top 7 there.
Yeah, first on Restream, we'll see if he wants to speak with us after this seed.
A very solid run. Again,
yeah, top 7. It's going to be great for points for him. I'm sure this is, it has to be within the first day. It's the 8th qualifier, but I don't know. We'll have to see which one this is for him.
WTHH finishing in 7th with 2:12:57. So there are our top 7 for this qualifier. Congratulations. Hover boots again were in adult side spirit temple. It was one of the invisible chests before the iron knuckle room. Hello, T-Ris. Welcome and congratulations on your finish. That was a really good time. Here's Marco with 8th, 2:13.25. Yeah, I think we're going to start seeing a lot more runners finish. The runners who at least got around to checking those 20 skulls around the same time Vidya did. Oh, Vidya rating us with a group of 10. Yeah, hook shot on that 20 skulls is tricky again. Like Emo said, you're either in the 20 skull camps or you're not. You got to commit if you're going to do it. And it looks like Skull Believers won this time. Skull Deniers might have their day, though. We still have many qualifiers left.
It's like a similar sentiment to how some competitor... Oh, and Vidya's joining us right now. Hello, Vidya.
Congratulations on your top 7 finish.
Oh my god, I'm so happy.
Yeah, dude, you did great.
The whole time I was really mad about like all these like terrible little execution mistakes. I wasn't even mad about, elephants in the room for getting Bosky and Shadow, like whatever. I was like, yeah, that's definitely 100% on me. More so like all the little execution mistakes I was getting upset over. And then I checked the race room and I'm like, how the hell did I get 6th place in this? I am ecstatic with that.
I don't think you have anything to really be upset about. You played the seed very smart. You played it really well. Clearly you're a gold Skulltula believer, as you were the only one on our restream who even was close to 20 when we first started discovering that Hookshot was behind 20 skulls. When you found Hookshot, Jay had 0.
The only one who has Hook, right? So
correct.
Yeah.
Jay had 0, but then they had 5, and then they clocked up 15 fast. So now Aeronaut's been trying to clock up 20 as they had 0 up until about 10 minutes ago.
I was saying, like, the faster you find the bomb bag in this seed, the faster, or like the worse off you are because you're just so de-incentivized to do skulls, right?
Yeah,
so, like,
absolutely.
I was questioning, like, okay, I'm definitely going to go for 20, but like, at what point, like, do I keep going for skulls, or do I stop at 20? So, and then I found the bomb bag. I'm like, I'm pretty sure. Okay, my tracker, I'm still using like Hamza's map tracker, which is like 3 years old at this point, but it tells me like how many skulls are in logic. And right before I found the bomb bag, it said I had 51 in logic. So I'm like, okay, I don't think the bomb bag is path for Deku, but like what else? The Jabu path, right?
Right.
And then I kind of worked out that like, okay, it kind of has to be ZL on Burning Cack. So that's why I went for that first.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you really do differently other than those minor forgetting boss key and then minor executions? Was there anything that you felt in retrospect you would have done later? Or sooner?
I feel like the big thing was I felt like when I was doing DC, I was like, okay, I could go back and do Jabu and like, DC's stone, so it might not be required. And that was like the only thing where I was like, okay, I kind of lost time doing all of DC when I could have just, bailed after the Strength 2. But, I don't regret it because Strength 2 ended up being required for hovers anyway. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, again, paid off and you played super well. Emo, do you have some questions for Vidya?
I think particularly you should watch this one back, Vidya, and look at your large scale routing because I think you did really well on that this seed.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they give you real big picture stuff.
Yeah, I think the early game was like really, really dry too.
Yeah.
Which is why I tried to go a little bit more thorough, and like that is like, I feel like in general playing thorough in quals is never a bad thing to do, but at the same time, like there's just so many good players in all these quals that like every little decision you make can end up costing you so much time if it's incorrect. So it's always a risk, but yeah, you're right. The macro routing I think was really good this qual.
Absolutely, especially since you, Jay, and Master took the same strategy of spending a bit of time in child, but Aeronaut went adult almost immediately. So we saw a divergence at the beginning, but kind of on the diagonals with Aeronaut and Jay end up kind of linking up on checks, and then you and Master kind of having pace for a while. it kind of went back and forth at who was in the front. It wasn't until after Jabu and then Deku where you became a clear leader in the checks, as Jay had an unfortunate VC crash in Jabu during Baronade, which had him redo the dungeon. But otherwise, everyone was performing really strong. You just had a really good overall scope, like Emo said, and that really helped you here.
When are we gonna have a conversation about FBA and quals? Am I right?
Hey, I'm all for it, man. I think it's actually pretty easy to implement. The only thing that's kind of preventing that is red tape at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just a matter of like how much you have in terms of admin time, and like
it underscores how like understaffed we are for volunteers, just for restreams. So hey, if you're interested in that, definitely look into it. It's really fun. I'm just on a Discord call with a new friend I made today. So
yeah,
it's really easy, especially if you spend all your day in Discord anyway. Hey, put it towards something you actually care about and enjoy.
Yeah,
it can go a long way, especially for a racer experience. It can help them out, and if you're a racer, you can provide a lot of really great commentary and provide insight for people that don't know as much.
There's kind of this effect that I think a lot of players have, which is just watching. Like, there's only so much you can do from like watching other people, but at the same time, like every time I watch like a top player like Mr. Mario or Sponge or whatever, I learn something new, and you get that like tenfold when you're commentating with someone else, because you just get so many ideas, so much perspective that you wouldn't feel either way. And the same goes for tracking too. You might be a little less like directly involved with how the seed is going, but you're still absorbing it, you're still gaining a lot of skills. So it's a great thing to do for newer runners, people who are trying to get in and make a name for themselves.
Yeah, and also you have a lot of good dialogue and discourse over the runners. There's lots to talk about with Ocarina of Time, not just by the hype play by players, but also more of the background knowledge. So for context earlier, for anyone who's coming in, this is my second time commentating a race. My first time was last Saturday with Star. Super analytical, very nice person, great in the community. She taught me a lot. Emo here's been teaching me a lot over the stream. So I don't have a greatest sense of hint logic or glitchless knowledge, as I historically have done more glitched stuff. So being able to talk to people and also, of course, watch 4 great runners, as everyone who appears on Restream is excellent runners. Yeah. You get a lot of strategies, like I talked about last week with Star, that you're going to, I'm going to steal that. That was really good Fear's Wind used in Spirit. I'm going to steal that. Yeah, exactly. Like, just like little things for optimizations.
I cannot tell you the amount of times, like, I'll just be watching Sponge and I'll see something. I'm like, all right, I'm going to load up GZ right now and learn this, because it's just so helpful. Like those temple, like, speaking of Fluflush, who got first place, go and watch a single like Fluflush stream. You will learn so many things you never knew possible about OTR. Like, that guy is a strat warlord. It is crazy.
And if you're not in the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time Randomizer Discord, there's a ton of resources in there, not only on to learn more about the races and volunteering, like was linked earlier, but strategies. If you have questions, the community is very helpful.
Yeah, in terms of qualifiers, though, which qualifier is this for you, Vidium?
Sorry, this is my second.
Second? Ooh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
I forfeited my first. It was
duality of man.
Well, this is a very strong second.
First scoring qual is going to be nigh 1,000 points. I mean, upper 900s, if not.
That's probably the best I've ever done in a qual. I think my previous best placement in a qual was 9th place. So,
damn.
Well,
yeah,
that's
huge.
You're gonna get first in the next one. That's my prediction. You're gonna pop off. You're just gonna lock in. You're gonna annihilate.
All he needs is top 7. You don't need to win these.
Yeah, the point of quals is to play not to win, but to do well enough to get enough points, right? Like,
yeah, it's kind of why the like skull question is so interesting, because you kind of do have to be one of the two camps. You're either team skull or team what's a skull, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
What'd you say to me?
Yep. Because again, Jay and Aeronaut were both killing it, but they were in team no skull, so now they're making up for that time.
And then I was gonna say, I think I still have the commentator role in the OTR Discord, even though I haven't commentated a race in, I don't know at this point. Actually, no, I think I got that removed, but I really should commentate more OTR. It's just my free time now is less and less. So
yeah, and since you're participating in the season, obviously you have to juggle that with actually doing the qualifiers yourself. But if you have time in the future, or if anyone else listening, maybe if you've commented in the past, you're always welcome to come back.
And meanwhile, we've had 16 finishers now, up from 7 or 8. Video joined the call here. So in addition to What the Hell's in Marco, Say is finished, Volk, Engel, some more French runners, some more American runners, Nopons, Tanjo, Yo-Yo Ocarina, Hyper, Flea, I believe. We know about that. Okay.
Oh, one thing I did want to ask Vidya is when you were going through Shadow Temple your first time, how did you feel about finding so many big chests that were garbage?
Dude, you called it out. Yeah, I was like, every time I'm like, please, bro, just end it. Like, let this be over. And it was just, 2 slingshots, bigger on sword, and a big bomb bag?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We were laughing because obviously 50 bomb bag, and then this one bomb bag was bomb lock, so it was this Deku or get 50.
Yep. And I'm wondering, like, if you find hookshot first, like, does that stray you away from hovers, maybe? Like, do you
Chat was actually bringing that up. They're like, if you got hookshot early, would you get baited in anything? And Emo and I talked about it, and we figured not really, because force is required, and that's where most runners would end up right at that point. And then the only real bait was GTG, which Aeronaut did poke his head in pretty early before having much of any items. And the middle was dead, and the freestanding item in Silver Rupee's room was dead. So after that, it's just back of GTG, which you need strength for, or toilet room, which we did have Song of Time and got Iron Boots early, but unfortunately no one had to flush themselves this time.
Where was Epona's? No. I'm not really sure. Unless you're like trying to make like a call. I don't know if GTG is necessarily a great play, because that you could figure out pretty early on that the hookshot in Ganon's is hookshot locked.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. GTG seems a little suspicious to me.
Yeah, because again, you had the knowledge, like you said. One hookshot's Ganon locked, so most likely long shot's dead anyways, or at least I hope it is. And then one bomb bag being 50 skulls and the other one being bomb lock sucks. Yeah. T-Risk said they had hovers as their go mode, which I don't blame them for that, checking Spirit Adult side, it being stone.
Yeah, I think it's the worst placed item outside of the hook.
Yeah, I agree.
Like your best options are like either Deep Fire or Spirit. So like, what are you gonna do, right? Like,
we did see people, both Master and Jay made a Deep Fire play, I believe.
Yeah, no, I wasn't about to do that. Like, with no hook, and then Megaton Hammer was also hinted dead. So, like, okay, so Fire Temple's already, like, 5 items now. So it really just felt like not the correct decision. Even without ZL, Spirit just felt like a much
There was
play.
something in Deep Fire, Strength 3.
Strength 3 for Foolish OGC and Ganon that you can't get to.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, switch that with hovers, and now we're talking about a different seed.
Yeah, true.
That seed was a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, more frustrating to play. We had the comments earlier, I believe Emo, and then somebody else from chat were like, I'm glad I'm not playing this one. This was definitely a tricky one.
Yeah, it was tricky, but in the end, I'm pretty happy with it, so that's all you can say.
Yeah, you played really smart. You followed the logic well.
All right, I think that's going to be it for me. I'm going to take a shower, guys. That's been a long day of sweaty melee grinding and sweatier qual playing.
Absolutely, you earned it.
Yeah, it was great to have you on. Hope you do better, I guess, in your future quals.
Only up from here, am I right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, for real.
All right, take care, guys. Thanks for commentating. Thanks for the restream. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yep, see you.
So checking back in with our runners, we have Aeronaut and Master both in Greenpo room, and we have Jay heading to the back of Shadow Temple right now, it looks like. So I know some of our runners who have finished their runs have already come in, such as Tiras and Hyper. Any other thoughts any of you have in chat about this seed so far? Maybe some of the things that video was discussing. Some maybe things that you wish you did a little better, but maybe you're really proud of the macro game, like Emo was talking about earlier. Do you feel the seed was really mean? Do you feel it was really nice? Are you never skipping 20 skulls again, or are you going to gamble and just no skulls ever? Excola finishing 20th. Got top 20 Salt locked in now. Deep Fire. I think Deep Fire is probably a regrettable play that some runners might feel. I'm curious if anyone went back to GTG. Like if they got that hook shot early and then kind of got lost in the sauce.
Yeah, I think one of the bigger takeaways from this seed is the GTG gang getting punished, because I think for the past maybe 4 quals they've only been getting rewarded for like rushing GTG no matter what, let's say, or like really low item requirements, so like there was that one qual where it was hammer path for the one hammer lock to GTG thing and nothing in fire. Love that seed.
Yeah, that was
awful.
Qual 5, I think.
Yep. Yeah,
yeah, I commentated that when T-Risk was there for that one, and we had them on the restream, and we asked them, it was like, yeah, so treasure chest minigame, path with hammer, for hovers. And like, man, T-Risk had a really good Qual 5, though, with doing child checks early. It just got lost in the sauce, especially with looking for Dins in that seed, because it ended up being in DC, which wasn't required.
That was also the only seed I've done for qualifiers this season, which is funny.
Oh, yeah, so that was the one you did.
And then for about a week and a half later, every single seed I had something on skulls that was hard required. Mm-hmm. And I'm not really team skulls, so I feel for the runners and the situation for this seed. It sucks.
Yeah. I'm team skulls when they're convenient, but when you have a seed where you don't have a bottle, no sun song, and maybe the skulls that you have access to are inconvenient, then I'm not team skulls.
It only takes like one seed like this to have like a huge impact on future quals too. It's not really necessarily the best idea to base randomized seeds off previous other seed. It's a whole thing with anything randomized and competitive. So,
yeah. To Hyper's point in chat, though, child side magic is pretty terrible in this seed, since 1, spirit wasn't required, and 2, there was no keys on child side. So there are some people who maybe did skip that child side, like we were talking about earlier, and you're going, that's not a really great play to make, and obviously the seed it isn't, because we never found where second magic is.
Yeah, at this point, I think it has to be in Ganon's, but
yeah,
not especially usable or relevant.
Yeah. You scummed cack skulls, Tiras. Yeah, we had runners, since explosives were tough early on, doing some bomb shoe scumming in Lost Woods. So I could definitely see if people didn't maybe go like Hylia early, getting a hammer, doing some scums, and then having to re-walk pass.
Like this freeze frame on video screen.
Oh, it's perfect.
Nice choice.
I was so young. J-Bone finishing Shadow Temple. They're in Gomo. There's their boss key. They're heading over to Ganon's Castle. Master right behind them, I think.
So as I was talking about, all these really fat finishes are just going to keep rolling in until the last few finish.
Light arrow cussing being seeds for slingshot. It's great. Thank you, Zelda.
Yeah, for some of these runners, this is probably their 8th qual. I don't know the exact list. I don't have it on me, but
it's possible. There's some definitely spread out times. I know some.
I expect a little bit more forfeits in that case, though. But I don't know.
Right.
We only have 15? No, 12 out of 67. Pretty normal.
12 forfeits so far?
Yeah.
Okay. That's not too bad. It seems pretty average. It seems that in these earlier quals, we're getting maybe a quarter to a third forfeits, maybe?
Yeah, third's probably on the heavier side.
Yeah.
think a quarter for any qual is probably about normal.
Mm-hmm.
Especially once you get late in the season too. It's just it's kind of why I tend to avoid the start of the season now, at least for points consideration. It's just way likelier you're going to get more points off the later quals.
Mm.
But it totally depends, though. Like you can have a bunch of easy seeds for like the last 6 or something, and if you've already done your 8,
or you get a bunch of all dungeon seeds right at the end,
and all you had to do was jets or something. You know.
Like, so for context, how many seasons have you participated in so far, Emo?
Me?
Mm-hmm.
Since season 2.
There you go. See, Emo's got the experience here. Everybody, listen to him.
I've never made the main tournament.
This is your year, I believe.
I don't think it will be, but
I'm your number one cheerleader now.
We can always hope. You're not, but it's cute that you can lie to me like that.
Let's see, we got 30th place finished up, so we have almost, about half the runners either done or forfeiting. And looks like we have Master and Aeronaut doing Shadow, Jay heading up to Ganon. Yeah, over half. 42 out of 67, nice.
And especially if you've done a lot of seeds, like the best you can hope for is like an 850 or something in this situation, but even that, like it's gonna be like there's a lot of like competing ideas in terms of like what is gonna make top 32 this season, because it's only the bar is only increased as players get good and more strats are being found. Like KZ skip wasn't a thing until season 5, I believe. J Bone, the guy on stream, he's the one that found it. So he's just practicing in Discord one day and found it.
Yeah, that's how a lot of tricks get found.
Small world, yeah.
You're just practicing. You're like, "Oops, wait, what did I do? Oh, cool.
Oh, I wonder, is this there? Oh, you know.
Yeah.
I want to say it was season 5. I want to say it was season 4 or 5. Oh,
Hyper says 4.
It's found in 4, but it was only like really widespread in 5, maybe. Something like that. It's tough. The longer you've been in the game, the tougher it is to really split the hairs on the difference between seasons.
That's totally fair. We got Jay about to play with Ganon.
It's like seeing the automobile being invented, and you've just been like, back in my day, we used horses to get around, like when freestanding items were just all pieces of heart. Or whatever they were, like in the vanilla game. Like you just didn't have that. You didn't have big chest. You didn't have. There's so many things, countless things, really.
Yeah, and similarly, a lot of tech has been discovered over the years.
Oh yeah.
To really expedite and do more things out of logic as well.
Yeah, glitchless categories don't receive the same amount of love, especially in OoT, because the game's. There's so many glitches that, it can kind of get overlooked sometimes. So, not shocked that some glitchless strats were found, because, like, why would you ever need them? Like, KZ skip? Like, it's just not a thing.
There's a lot of strats that get used in Randomizer.
Yeah, you can go out of bounds. Yeah, sure.
That never...
Why would you do that here?
That don't get used in normal speedruns, though.
That's true.
I don't even think, is it QPA ever used in a run? Maybe low percent?
It's used in a few runs, I think, now. I want to say, not up to date on my meta speedrunning knowledge for OT specifically.
Yeah, so you do see a lot of other tricks and strategies. And the nice thing about Randomizer as opposed to speedrun, right, is you're not always going the same route. You have optimizations, and depending on your settings, there's things that you want to do, right? Like, obviously, getting a lot of the Sphere Zero checks, as we call them, that are easily accessible, you can go to immediately is very important, especially early on, depending where you are.
It can be a time sink, too, on the other side. So, like...
Oh, yeah, totally.
Like,
Like the example you
that
gave
kind of
early
style.
on. Yeah, like a scrub in Lost Woods. Scrub Merchant Lost Woods. That's a time-consuming for zero potentially. But on the flip side, you walk into Mido's and you get 2 big chests, and you're like, hey, what's good, Mido?
The settings really kind of allow for a more aggressive playstyle to kind of, I wouldn't say dominate the playfield, but it's a lot more prevalent, and you have a lot more high-profile aggressive runners now, rather than S3, S4, where it was primarily the same kind of play patterns every single seed, and they're all around 3 hours, more or less.
Well, J-Bone finished 2:38.23.
Oh, nice.
33rd place.
Let's
go. That's really good considering they were at 5 Skulltulas when we figured out Hookshot was on 20. So that's a really good recovery, even beating out Master, who I think was ahead in Skulls, but I don't think found they needed
with the
them
VC
until later.
crash. With the VC crash, too.
With the VC. Welcome,
Hey,
J-Bone.
J-Bone.
Congratulations.
Oh, that was bad. It's the worst
That was
call I've
bad?
had in 3
All right,
years.
elaborate. Why was it bad?
It's just the worst scoring qual I've had in 3 years.
Well, we know the VC. We were just talking about the VC crash wasn't any help. You had to redo Jabu Jabu again.
Well, yeah, and I played it more aggressively because of that to try to make up some time, which meant not touching skulls, even though I was running out of checks.
Right. So what do you think was the trickiest part of the seed? Was it the hook shot on 20?
Yeah, I mean, that's what you either get that or you don't. You full clear like I did.
Yep. Video was a bit more proactive on the Skulltulas, which is why they finished out of our 4 restreams here, the first out of your 4 set, and they finished 6.
Yeah.
We did have 2 runners in sub 2, obviously. So again, Skull Believers paid off in this one, but it put that VC crash to put you in a tough position.
Yep. It happens. I've been praying for a VC crash in all my practice seeds, and it never came.
Of course,
Gotta
it
get the
had to
crashes
happen
out of
during
the
the
way.
qualifier.
I mean, I have a
at the end of
VC
the
crash
dungeon.
in almost a year and a half, so it was due.
It's not the worst one I've seen.
No. Well,
I
and I
mean,
saved
it's only Jabu. Like, it could have been Forest. It could have been.
I saved more than a lot of people too, which helps.
That did
That's
help.
true.
Especially in quals. I save a lot.
Still only your second qual, right, of the season.
My first one's good enough to make it, but the second one was bad.
Yeah, it's still plenty of time to get more 900 scores and get up there on the leaderboard. But I don't know. Any other thoughts on the seed? It was more or less straightforward.
No, not really. I was just praying for that chest and the shortcut of fire to be hookshot. Because if that's hookshot, I'm in a lot better position.
Yeah, a lot of the routing was kind of tied up pretty much, I don't want to say for the first hour. Y'all did pretty much the same thing, so
you
wouldn't be surprised if like 80% of the players probably did all the same route for the first hour or so. So
I mean, the VC crash also made me not go out and plant the bean because I was planning on planting a bean out there. So it happens. Let's see.
During the seed, you made a lot of really strong plays though early on. Probably up until that Jabu, you were basically neck and neck with going back and forth with Vidya and Aeronaut for looking to be what was ahead at that point. It wasn't until that we realized Hookshot was on 20 where we're like, oh, Jay's quite a bit behind now. If it wasn't for that BC crash, do you think you would have gone out of the way for a few more skulls or nah?
Yeah, I mean, I would have grabbed the skulls in Jabu again.
Yeah.
Because I lost those. I would have grabbed the one outside Jabu. I was planning on going out to Lake and grabbing those. Like,
how do you feel about hints this seed? Because obviously we had 2 path hints leading you to Lake, then Goron City.
Yeah, I mean, they're straightforward. Hookshot's locked behind, like, not hookshot, but hovers are locked behind a lot of crap, so it just...
Yeah, we were talking about that outside that hookshot, that hover chest was pretty mean. And the magic chest. Because we haven't seen where the second magic is yet, so we're assuming that it's like Gan's Castle or magic lock somewhere else.
I mean, probably. I mean, the magic isn't that bad because Spirit quickly becomes your best play at a certain point, and since I was child, you're gonna go and try to make sure you don't get key locked.
Right. So we were having a discussion about this earlier about whether or not you play for skulls or not if you see a desirable item. So when you saw 50 bomb bag, you're probably thinking there's probably a sooner one, but now you're keeping skulls in your mind. But even with that, Aeronaut had 0 skulls for the longest time, up until they started seeing people finish, and they were probably like, uh-oh, Hook is somewhere easier.
Yeah.
If you didn't see that 50 bomb bag, would you have made a similar play of forgetting about skulls, or are you pretty much in the camp of I check 20?
It depends. Bomb bag, I'm not. It's really hard for a bomb bag to be your first bomb bag on 50.
Mm-hmm.
Things like strengths and a hook shot. Like if there was a hook shot on there, like hinted on there and not in light trial, I probably would have pushed a little harder because there's
Right.
always a world where that can be your first hook shot, but.
Which that would be a very mean first hook shot.
Yeah. I mean, we've all played them if you've played enough.
Sure.
But it's just, yeah, I mean, I try. You have to pick and choose in quals what you're going to be aggressive on, and I tend to be aggressive on skulls. Otherwise, you're just not going to score well.
Yeah, it's a consistent strategy, right?
Yeah.
And being consistent in squalls is definitely much
Yeah.
more rewarded, it seems like, on average.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Bane hints this season?
I mean, I've dealt with them in RSL, so
Well, I mean,
not
yeah,
really
sure.
any new thing, but
Half tower as well.
yeah. I mean, knowing where your light arrows is probably good when you. I mean, I'd rather have them and not have to go on a light arrow hunt, anywhere. I think it was something like someone did the math, and it's like 70 or 80% likely you're gonna get one. So it helps to keep you from having just a light arrow hunt at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, the sea was pretty interesting. Everyone kind of took similar paths, like Ema mentioned. There was a point where Aeronaut went adult pretty early, while you, Vidya, and Master decided to stay child for a little bit. So that was the main derivation in the beginning, but after that, Aeronaut and you had similar ideas, and Master and Vidya had similar ideas. They were chasing for a little bit, and then, Vidya just found Hookshot first, and then just went, oh, okay, it makes sense. They had to go into Shadow twice. We think the Shadow dip's probably going to be pretty common.
Yeah.
With, Shadow being a tease, obviously, 2 slingshots and another bomb bag. Everyone hoping that it's a Hookshot.
Open too.
Yeah.
And the one in Forest I didn't open, obviously.
Oh yeah, I mean at that point you're like, well, I'm already good to go. Aeronaut was grabbing a couple of them still. Some people went deep fire.
Yep.
Like you. So that was an uncommon play. A lot of people on NAB with strength 3 when they don't need it.
Yeah, I mean that was my densest play, and there was a skull on the way, so.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, especially at that position.
I guess I probably should have done just grab the one above in the big lava room, but I just didn't. I mean, hindsight's 20/20.
Oh no, absolutely. So. Especially with a randomizer, right? You're like, oh, I should have done that. Well, like, well, who would have known?
Yeah.
The hints this seed were pretty good, but there was definitely a lot of hints where you're like, all right, whatever.
I mean, I wish any other dungeon was the Shadow Med, because I 100% would have done Hookless Light Trial or Spirit Trial.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How do you feel about the settings in general for the season?
They're okay. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of the amount of information you can get from the hints. I mean, in this seed you couldn't get a bunch, but the split win con just makes path hints way stronger, and I'm not a huge fan of that, but I know how to play it, so it's fine.
Yeah, we were having another discussion during Qualifier 1, and then I had this discussion with Star last week during Qual 5, that the settings for the scene seemed fairly accessible for people. It's just getting into that hit knowledge and flow. We had some questions in chat about how double Bane of Evil hints were. We all agreed that 30, 40, 50 being in the Skulltula house is really nice as opposed to it being on stones.
I mean, I still am the fan that 30 shouldn't be on the hint on the Skull House. I think it's a legit strat to, if you don't have a 30 hint, to keep collecting skulls above 20.
Mm-hmm.
And it removes that someone's play of doing that.
Right.
But
so you would maybe like say 40, 50 hint, but not the 30.
And like we did for the last 2 seasons.
Got it. Well, is there anything you're looking forward to this season other than in these qualifiers getting a better score?
No, I mean, that's all it's about, really.
Sure.
I'm just not one to forfeit. I probably would have forfeited to this at some point, but because I knew it
yeah,
wasn't a scoring qual.
we mentioned this earlier when talking to Video, but you had a really good recovery because when we figured out Hookshot was path, you had only 5 Skulltulas, but you cleaned it up and and you figured it out. You're like going in deep, checking places, and then you saw, I'm guessing you saw the finishers coming up and be like, oh, Hookshot's easier to get than this.
Yeah, I mean, I was at a point when the first finisher came in, I had the 2 lake checks and 20 skulls left. So,
right.
Wasn't a lot of options there. And it could have been really either of them. Because someone may have just said, screw it, I'm going to go check lake even more past the hammer with the bean.
Oh, yeah. See here. We have Master finishing up soon, it looks like, and Aeronaut just finished. So glad to see everyone on the restream finishing up in the next few minutes. It was a really good watch, though. A couple people in chat and email being like, glad I didn't play this seed, but it was a fun seed to watch. Definitely got people scratching their heads a little bit. Skull Believers won this time.
Yeah. It's alright. It happens. Not every seed can be a good seed.
No. We were talking about it earlier, and also, like, you know, with 20 being right under your nose, it does sting a little bit when it's that. But if someone still got stuck looking for magic, like we were talking about earlier, someone could have skipped Child Side Spirit because there was no key over there. That would be pretty nasty.
I mean, I also knew I was in a pretty grim spot because the only saving grace would be if you could find Hookshot and get ZL on Prelude, but with the hints, there was no way ZL was on Prelude.
Nope.
So
he still scrounged 800 points through a VC crash, and then you also know you have like 20-30 minutes at the end after finding Hook before you even finish. So it's like...
And a hard, I guess not hard last location. There was 2 chests.
Basically.
Yeah,
basically.
That's a really strong recovery.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the end of the world. 1,000 can cancel it out if I have to count it, but...
Yeah, and again, this is only your second, so you have plenty more qualifiers ahead of you.
Yep. Except for I'm going to have to do one out of a time that I normally don't want to, because I took last Saturday off, but...
I slept through last Sunday.
I mean, last Sunday was like 5 a.m. my time or something, so I.
It wasn't optimal.
Yeah, I was like, I can't get up for that later, guys. I can't do that.
You have more of an excuse than I do, Emo, because I'm in Central, so it's not as bad of a time for me as you.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
it was like Sunday morning or Saturday or whatever. It's your weekend.
I'm only -2 from Eastern until March or whenever DSD is.
But anyways, I'm gonna go get dinner. My dog
absolutely. Thank you very much for your time and sharing your restream and knowledge, and we wish you luck in the coming qualifiers.
Yeah, thank you. And thanks for commenting, thanks for tracking, everyone. Have a good one.
You too.
Yeah, you too.
Do we have anyone else joining us in here, or is that it for the restream today, Emo?
Looks like Aeronaut said no to the interview. See Master Alex in chat.
Oh, GG Master. That was a rough seed as we were talking about with Jay right there. It's a good seed to demonstrate different philosophies on checks and mindsets going into qualifiers. As we heard with Vidya and Jay, doing those Skulltulas is good to do in qualifiers for the consistent scores, because to your point, you don't need to be first. Just good enough. There we go. There is the Season 8 scoreboard, it looks like. 2 finishing sub 2, getting over 1,000 points. Some very strong performances, and there's Vidya James at 6, who was on the restream with us.
Yeah, 968. Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Nice start.
For anyone less familiar with the scoring point system, what would you say is a nice score to have in a qualifier, Emo?
I mean, it's, I think, based on the top 7 still. So top 7, if you just get top 7 every quality play, you're guaranteed to make the tournament. So that, outside of that, kind of depends what you're aiming for. If you're aiming for main tournament, you have to get over 900 for all your scores. If you're aiming for Challenge Cup, 800. And here's Alex joining us in the booth. GG.
GG.
Yeah, thanks.
How do you feel about this seed?
Nah, I don't know. It's always the last item you check, I guess. Yeah, I had a lot of back and forth. As you probably noticed, but I wasn't the only one, I guess. So
Absolutely not. The only one on our the only one on our restream that was on an okay beat was Video James that finished 6th. They played the skull count a little bit more aggressively. All three of you, Aeronaut, and Jay were behind on Skulltulas before coming to the realization, it's on skulls. And that was a common finishing based on the times that we're seeing.
Yeah, I think I had 10 fairly early, or at least 8 or 9, close.
Yeah, you were probably the second most aggressive in collecting Skulltulas, because when we came around to understanding where Hookshot was, Jay had 5 and Aeronaut had 0. You were at moderate pace, and then Vidya just kept on it in Overworld, doubling back for some, like, doing night CAC early with Child to get a few Skulltulas and not skipping any in the dungeons that they didn't need to skip.
Yeah, I was contemplating and thinking maybe I should collect skulls, given how barren the early seed was, but then I suddenly got items like, nah, let's not collect skulls, it's not on 20.
Mm-hmm.
Well, oops.
We've been asking other runners, which qualifier is this for you? Is this your 3rd, 2nd? We got a lot of seconds so far.
4th?
4th? Alright, so you're halfway.
Yeah.
4th, yeah.
I had 2 okay quals and 2 not so great quals, so this is one of the not so great quals.
That's just how it goes. To Emo's point earlier, the latter half of quals might be a lot stronger for you. But this seed was really mean. We seem to be coming to consensus that other than Hookshot, Hover Boots was a pretty mean check on adult side there before the Iron Knuckle, and then Magic on child side could be a little spicy since there was no keys over there.
Well, you had the recommend to Bongo, so there's no way you're
That's
not
true.
doing child side. And then you just get funneled into having nothing, and then you end up in Adult Spirit, I guess. Especially if you don't have Hook, you don't really have much to do.
Right.
I was thinking of going Adult Spirit earlier than I did, but I wasn't in Logic, so until I got the bow. So I wanted to stay in Logic.
Yeah, staying in Logic can be very useful during the qualifiers for a more consistent run, but go on, please.
Yeah, so was I missing any hints? I might have missed them sometimes, but I guess there was nothing of importance in the last sometimes.
I think you're the only runner out of the restream who actually went back to check Raider Stone, so I think you got the most hints out of anybody, which was ZL on Burning Cack, so...
Yeah, it had to be the Burning Cack or the preload check, so at that point it was like, yeah, well, it's not going to be relevant, I think. Which it didn't.
How have you been enjoying S8 so far?
It's okay. I mean, it's same as always, I think.
More or less.
Yeah, I mean, settings that are slightly different, but all in all, if you don't count S7, because we all know S7, then I would say it's fairly the same. It's not much difference.
Yeah, we were just asking Jay about their feelings on the settings, and we brought up the 30, 40, 50 Skulltula hint and Skull House being nice, and their thoughts was that maybe 30 shouldn't be hinted. Just keep 40, 50 hinted. So we have some good opinions on the hints, especially since I know the hints can throw some people for a loop during these seasons. But that was a pretty... not the meanest seed, but not the nicest either.
No, ended up doing everything, so...
Yeah, you did Deep Fire. You did really just basically do everything, which we did see other people doing that as well.
Yeah, that was my last check. So if it wasn't there, I knew I had goofed something. I did get a work call in the middle of the race, so I was starting to lose track a little bit of the checks I'd done, but I was quite sure it was the last one.
Yeah, Jay had a virtual console crash right at the end of Jabu Jabu, so they had to redo Jabu Jabu, and to make up time, they started skipping Skulltulas, so they didn't recollect any of the Skulltulas in Jabu Jabu, which obviously was an unfortunate situation, but other runners are having a similar pressure. One thing that I want to ask you specifically is you were the last in the restream to find Bo. How did you feel about when you finally found Bo on Goron Link?
Well, I'm back in Logic. Well, that was the enabler for Spirit. Otherwise, I would have gone there earlier, but
right.
No hovers or Bow, so it meant that the strength 2 in the shortcut room wasn't in Logic.
Mm-hmm.
But,
it definitely forced you into a different path.
Yeah. So, but it was fine. I mean, I was expecting hovers or maybe hook, but when I was going through, I was like, okay, Bow can also be possible due to key logic.
Right.
It's fine.
No,
you'll get him next time, I'm sure.
Yeah, you'll kill it next time. You got 4 more ahead of you.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think I have any more questions about you, Burrito.
No, I know it's getting late, so people will want to get foods or start getting ready for bed. So we appreciate you sharing your restream with us. Without Alex, it was very entertaining as the run went on, especially past the probably hour 15 point. Everyone was basically doing something different until they found those big checks. So it was nice seeing a little bit of differences in the run. So thank you very much.
Yep. Thanks for the restream. Always a pleasure.
Thank you, and thanks for the interview.
Well, it sounds like my cue.
Yep.
All right. Thank you to Out of This World Burrito and Emo for giving us a good comms. For everyone else who helped me track. To all the runners for running, for chat, to coming out. Hope everyone has a good rest of the day. I'm going to send us over to Marine Mammal Rescue and the Otters. Have a good night. Or good day, rather.